So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whenever you listen to this. This is Matthew Bailey alongside my critique and partner in crime, Ricardo Medina.
Hello everyone.
And this is another episode of Bears, Beats, and Bailey. Yeah, so today we'll be talking about, well, apart from movies, of course, we're also going to talk about a few trailers that came out last week.
Right.
For CBS and Fox.
Right. Actual movie trailers.
Actual movie trailers for like Ghostbusters.
And then a couple of video game stuff came out. That was great. So I just wanted to discover video game stuff. Doom. New Doom, 2016. We haven't had a Doom in such a long time.
Yes,
like 10 years.
True. Yeah.
Well, 10 years we haven't had a Doom. Doom 3 wasn't that good in my opinion. I didn't like it, didn't hate it either. But that's alright. I love this new one. Love it.
Alright, what was it like? Is it the official game or just like a demo?
No, 2016 it came out.
Oh, it came out. Okay.
Bought it on Steam. Love it. It's mindless. It doesn't have a plot.
It doesn't need to.
It doesn't care, and it goes out of its way to not care about the plot. But it's great. It actually explains stuff if you decide to follow it and make sense of it.
Right. They don't try to kind of continue or some sort of chronological kind of thing.
Kind of a little bit, because it's not like with Doom 3 when Doom 3 was basically a retelling of Doom 1, the original Doom 1 back in 1993. What they did with this is that they're telling a new kind of story. And then they link in. It's a story being told, but you don't need to follow it at all because even in the game, like there's a really funny little animation in the beginning where you're reading and the scientists start telling you shit and he just throws you part on the ground and picks up a gun.
I love that.
Like they kind of actively go to the way to like say, oh, sorry, don't matter.
It's like watch it. You don't need to know.
One of the big problems with and we will get into this as well. Oh, one of the other trailers I want to talk about was the Assassin's Creed trailer.
Yes.
One of the big problems with the story versus in video games is how many video games do a terrible job telling a story. Yeah, when it comes to the actual story. When you actually think about it or care about it, it's like, this is a BBB. This is nonsense. Even the best games.
But have there been any like exceptions to the rule?
I'll say the only game story-wise, in terms of like you have good action and storyline, is only relatively recent that did that. Is probably the Nathan Drake franchise. And Last of Us. Last of Us has a fantastic story. There are a lot of other good stories out there that they tell, but pretty much even Half-Life does this next time. Half-Life is still B-movie level type thing. Even though I really
just have the kind of conspiracy theorist kind of stuff interwoven.
Right, exactly. But Half-Life is something I also liked.
I really like the story for that. Indeed.
But that's it. I mean, there's a bunch of them. There's when you get into it, it's like, oh, this story is just terrible. Gears of War try to do something and then they get done. All the others, a bunch of other games. Mass Effect try to do something and then they get done. And that's the sad part about it. But anyway, Doom, ton of fun. Go play it. If you have the cash, just go play it.
But as you mentioned, the whole story thing, I think maybe that's the reason why most video game movies don't really
because here's the problem. Here's the problem.
Reception.
Okay, so anybody ever watch? There's a famous I think it's a GIF or a picture on you'll find on the internet. It's called it's the shit eating problem. So you just see this guy taking a shit into a plate, and there's another guy taking a shit into a plate, another guy taking a shit into a plate, and they just going on like a fountain.
Yeah, like just top, picturing that shit right
now. Right, and on top you see 4chan, then Reddit, then
shit.
And then at the bottom, and then they go to Facebook, and then at the bottom they have 9gag. Right, so they're just fucking up on social networks. Anyway, this is kind of the same thing with storytelling. On top it's books, then this, then movies. It's books, then movies, and then video games. It's you just recycling the garbage. So with video games is the bottom end of the human centipede when it comes to thing. I mean, you have to, because and there's a practical reason for that. you have to spend half the time you have to spend programming, and then half the time you have to spend writing.
Right.
The probability of you having a good focus writer who would also give you a good game at the same time and have it weave well is practically slim to none. It's highly unlikely, especially when you go on the higher end of the video game market, because they need to sell the game. So you see that with all the Call of Duty bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? The first really Call of Duty had some okay writing, and then they just get, just seriously retarded later now. Because they just get worse and they stop giving a shit. And they didn't know the audience don't give a shit either.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's kind of
because people just skip all
yeah.
the cutscenes.
And by the way, if you think Ghostbusters has a bad trailer, look up the trailer for the new Call of Duty. I think it's Infinity Warfare or some shit. So yeah, where it's basically like Halo now.
Oh,
and it's
I remember you mentioned
horrible
that.
dread. And it's like, oh, this is looking terrible dread.
Mm.
Anyway, Doom awesome. Video games, maybe tough to tell whatever it is. Another game I wanted to talk about is Fallout 4. Fallout 4 latest DLC came out 3 days ago, I think, at the time of this recording. Awesome. Excellent DLC. Love it. Love it. Go play it if you're playing Fallout 4 already. Ton of content. Don't want to spoil anything, but you go to another island and this town on the island called Far Harbor. That's what it's named.
Mm-hmm.
And have a big mystery and a big plot and a bunch of great missions. And it's a ton of content. This is the DLC I've been waiting for. I hope we get more DLC, but if we don't get any more DLC from Fallout 4, I'll be happy with this. This is fine.
Cool.
It's excellent. Love it. I think that's it for video games.
Alright.
What else? Trailers.
Trailers.
Also,
Oh yeah, and we forgot to mention too, after trailers, the movies that we're gonna mention, because we didn't mention it, a few minutes ago.
Right.
We're gonna talk about Money Monster,
Yeah.
Keanu, The Nice Guys,
Yeah.
and X-Men Apocalypse. Yeah. So before we get into all that, we have to talk about these trailers.
Yeah.
Well, movie trailers, of course, you want to start with the movie trailers first, and then jump into TV.
Right.
Okay.
So Ghostbusters.
Yeah, we got Ghostbusters, and we got Star Trek Beyond,
Right.
and we got Assassin's
Two
Creed.
of these trailers. Alright, so this is it's Assassin's Creed is the first trailer with both Star Trek Beyond
And Ghostbusters, second
trailer.
Yeah.
Right. Ghostbusters. Okay.
I think we're gonna start with Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't hate this.
Neither do I.
I don't really hate this trailer. Now here's the thing. I'm not a super Assassin's Creed fan.
Neither am I.
I kind of like the first game. I thought the first game incomplete kind of thing. It was largely experimental in terms of, especially with the engine at the time, ideas.
I've never played any of the games.
I suck. The second game is excellent. Right, love the second game. Assassin's Creed 2 is a fantastic game in my opinion. I thought it was just really well storytelling. Surprisingly good. It was kind of like what Mass Effect 2 was for me. It was, just really well. The world was realized, the story was realized. They hammered out all the problems, and for the most part, it was great. Then that franchise started shit. 3 years ago, they did Black Flag, which wasn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
One of the DLCs to Black Flag is excellent. This is I remember this where it was a slave and he was from Trinidad and things like
I actually remember I've seen the trailer for
right. That's the only time I cared about one of the sequels to Assassin's Creed. He was like, this actually have a Trinidad. I didn't know about it. It's my duty.
Yeah.
And
support local.
Right, and then it was for the most part the franchise is something that really floundered for a lot of people. It kept its core audience too.
Yeah.
And I'll argue the main reason it failed is because it was Activision. Just a big company, publishing company, just fuck with it. Say, look, we're gonna half-ass the story for whatever reasons.
Yeah, because people don't care about story these days.
Not necessarily. It's just to split off. They need to split off and sell as much DLC as possible. And every time you have to do that, you have to reprogram and throw off your writing and all that kind of thing. So they put it as one product and then having a proper DLC to tell another product and tell another story, so you can weave in reasonably well for the programming. So when it's time to play the game, things flow well.
Mm-hmm.
Mass Effect did this very well. Fallout 4 does this quite well. Black Flag, horrible. So you have to tell a shit story. It doesn't matter. Well,
okay.
Point is, this trailer looks okay. There's some huge changes, right? So they do this big arm thing, and they give him knives in the real world. It's like, what? Why?
Yeah, that thing kind of threw me off guard at first. The whole real world, and then you have the simulation of what the game is.
That's the whole story.
Yeah.
The story is.
The story is that.
The story is where is the future, and what it is, they scan your DNA. And basically, you could tap into the memories of your ancestors. That's the story. So that's why they go back in time.
Yeah.
And you could go in virtually anytime they want. That is kind of the whole premise. And it gets into this epigenetics kind of thing. And then I forget what the villains wanted. I forget what they wanted. It's something to do with new information, and it was two clans warring. Whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter. The movie looking Prince of Persia.
It does. It
A little
does.
bit. And for example,
even right down to the CG
right,
and
yeah. For example,
shots and everything.
the fighting looks interesting because they had this one cool shot where you see this guy like slice up these two guys and then slap them and he stabbed them for the pose with the knives in his arm. With that, you know the fighting reminds me of a little bit. Remember Tassim Singh had a film about 5 years ago called Immortals. Superman starring.
Yes.
Remember the fighting in that same
that kind of fast and then slow kind of thing.
The kind of pseudo Zack Snyder thing.
That show could have been way better in retrospect.
Yeah,
like with
that quick script rewrite, that would have been like much more coherent and better.
Yeah, it was just all glossy and no
but
content.
But anyway, movie look alright. And anyway, it looks like that, so I expect it to be that.
Yeah.
I'm going to calculate it now. 45% on Rotten Tomatoes, 40% on Metacritic. That is my score now. It could be higher. We don't know.
Alright, but we forget to mention one thing. I didn't expect it, but I liked how they used Kanye West's song.
Right.
Oh my god.
No, here's the thing.
That was
Here's the thing. I hated hearing Kanye West's voice. Hated that. So when he started saying, I am a god, that nonsense, they could have cut that shit out. Capleton's chanting, that sample sounded excellent in the trailer. So when you're hearing him, doing his chant, Capleton doing his sample, when you hear that and then you see the action mix with that, you see the fighting, and then they had this cool part where you see them like worshiping the sun kind of thing. That's just a kind of meditation thing. I don't know if they're going to do that the same way. That sounded great. I was like, that mixed really well in the trailer. But Kanye West himself, if they just cut his voice out entirely, and then other fans and other people, a bunch of people did like fan remixes with the original music of the game and a bunch of.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Right, and it sung way better. But I didn't hate the what is the I am a god. That's from Jesus, right?
Yes, it's from Jesus.
Third track.
I think it's the third track.
To the fourth.
Yeah.
In my head, I was that is more remember. Anyway.
Yeah, but I actually did not expect that they would use the Capleton sample in
that's
section.
what sounds
I just thought it was gonna be I am a god, and then the chorus.
I don't need to hear Kanye West dumbass.
Yeah. But then, we didn't even hear the chorus. At least
exactly. I don't need to hear that. I just find the Capleton sample sounded great in that part. I was like, yes, sounded excellent.
It gave it this kind of weird feel to it.
Exactly. It had this kind of old world feel to it. Because that's the thing with remember this thing called Rastafarianism, that part of the world.
Exactly.
A lot of the aesthetics and so you could still that aesthetically mix in your head, even though anthropologically I doubt that's the case.
But maybe with the whole Kanye stuff, it's the future. I remember his album was trying to sound all futuristic and stuff to say this. Well, maybe that's why they had that part. But see what?
I thought that sounded cool, and if they just had that Capleton part, nobody would have been complaining.
Yeah, but what bugged me though, although it mightn't be much of a big issue for you, is this December release.
Right.
I have a sneaky suspicion that it might not.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah, might not do well in the box office because of that release.
That's a bad sign.
I mean, it's fine that you're doing it in months after Warcraft.
It's going to be right, exactly. It's going to be Warcraft. Going to be the template for that because if Warcraft does badly, and here's the thing with Warcraft, I expect Warcraft to be solid, story wise. Like
it has to be.
From a creative standpoint, I expect it to be about a 60% or so, but it's going to do badly at the box office. I expect that. That is my theory.
All right, I don't think it'll do badly, but I just think it might get that good a reception.
I think Blizzard. Blizzard is going to do the Marvel thing, where they're going to take our properties and then make our properties good. Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing. The mistake is that they decided to go CG entirely, which I don't think that was a smart choice, but well, that's it.
Yeah.
Blizzard always used to make kick-ass cutscenes, always.
Right.
Since the days of pretty much Diablo 1.
Dude, always had StarCraft 2, Joe.
Yeah.
Those cutscenes.
Yeah, exactly. Always had StarCraft, but all of the cutscenes, like just since the Diablo 1, they all had kick-ass scenes. Like for its time now.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, this looks good, this looks actually great. I rooted for Warcraft in that sense. Well, point is Assassin's Creed movie is a gamble.
It is.
But I really hope I hope they get out of the Yakuza track. So they'll tell the story and do the thing. Well.
Yeah. Alright, on to Ghostbusters.
Sorry.
Well, it's the thing. What blew me away, like I just couldn't believe it. Like, I knew this movie got a lot of hate ever since. Even before the movie came out, even before the first trailer came out, the announcement that yes, we're having a movie, a Ghostbusters movie. I don't call it a remake. I should call it a remake.
It's a reboot technically because it's not in future Ghostbusters narrative. It's basically a reset of Ghostbusters now.
Yeah.
So even though it's going to be, it's not going to be Peter Pan.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Well, a lot of people hate that.
Yeah, like on the day it came out, I think it came out Wednesday.
Yeah.
I actually talked about it on Facebook. Like, it received 3 times more dislikes than actual likes.
Yeah.
So this is 15,000 dislikes this video got.
Wow.
About 6 or 8 hours after the trailer was dropped.
Yeah.
I was like, my
Yeah,
God.
because I heard they pulled it and then re-released it or something like that. It was bad.
Pulled it off of YouTube.
Yeah, you slowly pulled it so you could find it on other sites. I forget what happened, but something happened where they pulled it and I noticed it was moving and then it got pulled off already.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry, just looking to
it's just not funny.
Everything,
even like the first one, it's just not funny.
Yeah, the problem is that so the sad part about this, it's a classic example. You see this shit all the time where you have right now clearly this is like at the eye of the storm of the identity politics shenanigans that are going on in the internet. Right? A lot of identity politics warfare going on, right? Feminism and this
and racism, of course.
Whatever, right? And whatever. And this is one of the big fronts where they deliberately decide to say, oh, you're going to have an entirely female Ghostbusters cast. We're going to reset the whole thing. And now, the entirely female idea is, okay, fine, I don't really have an issue with that.
No, don't do it.
That's not the problem. And when you now jump on that and you say, okay, this is a legitimate issue, sorry, people think it's criticism against feminism. Or, nope, sorry, that's not the case. It just looks bad. It's Sony. That's the problem. It's that same shitty New York angles.
Yeah.
Same shitty. It's always have this Dutch angle of New York. It's always it's same.
And of stuff just moving or flying through New York and stuff here.
And it's the same shitty angles. The same bad comedy. And here's the thing: if they want to replicate the SNL thing, because that was the big why the original Ghostbusters work. They're trying to do that, but Kristen Wiig and what is Kristen Wiig? What's the other one?
Melissa McCarthy.
Right. I forget the girl she's in SNL now.
Yeah.
And then two others in SNL, sorry. And they're just not working together well.
And and in this trailer we see Chris Hemsworth character, and I just didn't like how he was played, like how he was portrayed.
So basically, they have him like he's supposed to be the Janine.
He's a Janine, and you're mixing like Sigourney Weaver's character because he gets possessed now, and
And I get the feeling that it's going to be just totally uncreative, half-assed. I heard, people don't the scuttlebutt is that the script is terrible. They're going to get like a ridiculously low score. And then on top of that, because of the identity politics and the weight and all of that stuff, you're going to get a much lower score. I can see people like on Metacritic, especially because they have user scores.
Yeah.
I can see people going out of the way and they'll get like a bunch of zeros. I can imagine that. I kind of want it to be good a little bit because just to tell all these people to shut up.
Yeah.
But the sad part is I just have too much political weight on it, and there's no way you're gonna get a proper real opinion from this until like 2 or 3 years from now. And then people will just come back to it when all of this nonsense blow over.
And be like, this could have had potential.
Right. But everybody does give it their shit on it right now.
Yeah, which sucks, but
sadly it deserves it, but for the reasons people just arguing in bad faith. It's not for the reasons they think it is. Whatever. Moving on.
Right, moving on, Star Trek Beyond.
Yes.
It
looks quite entertaining.
It does.
Yes.
And compared to the last trailer, this one looks really much better. Yeah.
Right. Sam Peck, I remember complaining about the last trailer. He was like, he had a problem with it. I heard this one is smarter. Now, here's the thing. A guy like me is the worst person for Star Trek in the sense that
because you're a Trekkie.
I'm a fan, and I'm a fan in the worst kind of way in terms of I want to see just more of Picard and Cisco and that stuff, where it's more politics and characters have to think. And this kind of stuff.
Instead of the flashy action-packed stuff.
The thing is, I really wanted this universe to become more serious and do the politics thing and say, well, what's the political ramifications of Vulcan being destroyed from Star Trek 09?
Yeah, but the problem with that though, it's 2016. People don't care.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. They stopped giving a shit about that. And Into Darkness, I thought they were kind of doing it in Into Darkness. Where,
with your building tension.
Right, where you had Admiral Robocop Dick Cheney. Was doing this whole war on terror kind of shenanigans, and he built up a big ship and fight against Klingons maybe, and it's a big setup and all of that stuff. And I thought it was a good premise that was squandered potential.
Yeah.
Didn't like Into Darkness so much when you actually think of it. Had fun with it.
Yeah, it was good. I just didn't like how they took certain bits from the old films.
Script was dumb. Yeah, script was dumb, and then they decided to do a bunch of reboot nonsense for no reason.
Yeah. Because you have to please the Trekkies.
Yeah, it's like, that does not please us. One of the reasons we keep watching Star Trek, seeing new shit. That's the point. We don't want old shit. Right? We want old premises, but not old, ideas.
Yeah. But for me, with the first trailer for Star Trek Beyond, it felt like, hey guys, we have a new director now. It's Justin Lin from Fast and Furious. That's how it felt like.
Yeah.
In this one, it's like from Justin Lin.
Yeah.
For only doing Fast and Furious, of course, and producer J.J. Abrams. So it feels like, yes, we're back in the same universe as the last two films. we're gonna have fun with it, but we're gonna tell a really great story, or at least we're gonna attempt to.
Yeah, another thing about it, I love the visuals.
Yes, the
They have
visuals
this
are
kick-ass
on point.
part in the trailer where they show the Enterprise moving through subspace, moving through warp space.
Oh yes,
And
and
you see-
it literally looks like for me it looks
Yeah.
like a bullet literally
Yeah,
going through water.
right.
It looks awesome.
And they did a great job, and you get that if you're familiar with the idea of warp drive based on Alcubierre drive. And so it looks like the same models in a computer simulation. So you see space warping and
Okay,
like,
okay.
awesome. You get that right.
Yeah.
A bunch of cool other shit. So the ship mashing up, Idris Elba coming looking scary. He
Yeah.
looks a little bit like the Nan.
I didn't even pick up on it was him at first.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just had to look
yeah.
close.
The thing is, he looks like the Nan from Babylon 5, or a little bit like the Jem'Hadar. But
Uh-huh.
to me, that race looks like the Nan from Babylon 5. A little bit. If you know.
Okay, so it's not the creatures you talk about like alright, yes, I know this is kind of
Face.
gray face.
No, it's Idris Elba's race.
Okay, him.
Right.
Oh, sorry, him. Sorry.
Yeah. Then
I
the
talk
girl,
about the guild.
right, the girl, she is, remember that kind of weird two the legs was missing from the King's one? Remember that girl?
Yeah. Oh, that's her.
That's her.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
She have a kind of slightly managed jaw.
Yeah, but what race is she?
I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do with it.
Yeah.
From what I understand, they're brand new in stuff. Simon Pegg is writing it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, co-writing it actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's the other? I don't
I
know.
forget his name.
Okay.
So Simon Pegg and this other guy. Yeah. But glad to see he has writing credits.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, really glad he has writing credits in this. So, a guy like Simon Pegg, with the Cornetto trilogy, so I know
Right.
you know you're gonna get a good story.
No, yeah. He also
That's
had,
the
he also,
feel.
he also had geek cred. He also had his geek cred, with the material. So I never really mind with all of that. That's it. Just Kirk with his teleporting bike. I don't know why you have a teleporting bike, but whatever.
Because the audience likes teleporting bikes apparently.
They like bikes, and then it's Star Trek, so it needs to teleport as well. That's it. What else?
All right. What else? Let's jump into
Crappy
TV show
TV shows.
trailers.
Okay, so
So let me just talk about the best one first. The one that actually stood out the most to me. Training Day
I
from
don't see that.
CBS.
Right.
Well, one thing I really don't like about CBS trailers is that they give you like this 2.5 to 3 minute trailer, which basically kind of gives you the rundown of
Yeah. It's
not just the pilot episode, probably
extended trip.
like first 2 episodes or whatnot.
Yeah,
Same
that's
thing
right.
they did with Supergirl.
Yeah.
You got a gist of what Supergirl was about in that
Right.
trailer, right?
Now speaking of that going back, that not going that getting off of CBS, going back to CW.
Yeah. Which I'm wondering why didn't they go there in the first place?
So
I don't mind it though.
here's the thing.
Let me home with Legends of Tomorrow
right.
and
I
Arrow.
hope with the Flash finale is going to explain all of that shit. Because I heard Flash finale is going to cause all the universes to think that's the rumor. And then if it's all Legends Tomorrow finale,
Which I didn't, but I will this
Awesome.
week, don't worry.
yeah, that's well. I'll spoil it if I don't want to spoil it.
No, please,
Pretty,
I'll watch.
it does pretty awesome. It does geek awesome.
Alright.
Like
I don't mind. Just as long as it ends on a high note. I'm good.
right, it does alright. It
Yeah.
wasn't so bad. Even though Legend Tomorrow, that's easy.
It was rocky. It was
That's
trying to
very
find its
rocky.
footing.
Couldn't
I'll say
find it.
that.
I couldn't find
It's
it.
trying to figure out what it's trying to be. But anyway, Training Day.
Right.
So we have Bill Paxton
Okay.
and this newcomer, this black actor.
Yeah.
And at first when I saw Bill Paxton, I was thinking to myself, okay,
Okay, so decided.
is this
This is
like
serious,
so is this oh gosh, I'm forgetting Denzel's character, Alonzo.
Right.
I was thinking that this is like Alonzo's past because I remember Scott Glenn was in the
Okay.
original film. I thought
Okay.
it was like, and Scott Glenn was technically
Oh, so
his mentor at that time.
Okay, so
So I thought it was like that, but then I realized no, this is actually a new story.
Oh.
But it's in LA as well too.
Right.
And it's really Bill Paxton showing this new rookie, the ropes and everything,
Right.
and going through cases, and then slowly, at least in the trailer, you kind of realize this. Wait a minute, you're breaking the law, you're doing things behind the law's back,
Right.
what's going on here? And then, it's
Right, so
that kind of,
So it's the same relationship. but
same
it's-
thing.
They decide to switch races
yeah.
between Ethan Hawke and
And
Right,
Denzel
Denzel,
Washington.
right, okay.
But what makes it funny is that from what you see in this trailer alone, even if it spans a couple of episodes or so, I don't think it's just gonna be a day.
Yeah.
Maybe that's stupid. Because at first I was thinking, wait, they're not gonna do the 24 shtick where okay, this whole season runs at exactly 24
Right,
hours.
yeah,
I don't think so.
yeah, I don't
I
think.
think everything that you see just spans
Right.
days, which
Okay.
works for me. At least
Alright, cool.
even if the
Here's the thing
title
that
doesn't make sense.
notice all of these shows. CBS is the sanitized station. It's the station for the older folk. So if a show is here, that means it's not for the younger crowd. So an older bunch.
Yeah.
40s. That's sorry. CBS was always that, and they never came off that.
Mm.
It's a family network.
Yeah.
Never stopped being that. Sorry to say. So yeah, all of these things, these trailers. Well, I didn't see.
But I would say this much though. Sorry to cut you there, but I would say that the trailer actually looks really, really good.
Okay.
I was surprised. I was like, okay, this is something I could get on board.
Right.
So I'm hoping that at least it gets a full season run.
Right.
Doesn't get cut off like Rush Hour and Minority Report and those failed attempts.
Rush Hour. I never watched Minority Report, but Rush Hour, that series totally missed the point of why the original Rush Hour worked. Like completely missed the point. And it just don't work. It wasn't funny. Character chemistry was bad. The guy
I heard the guy who played Chris Tucker's character was actually
he was okay.
Okay.
But the thing is,
the other guy who played Jack Johnson.
Here's the problem. Right, exactly. But that's the thing. Chris Tucker's character is just an annoying black guy with a high pitched voice and constantly talking shit.
Yeah.
Right?
What the hell?
Right. That's it. See, just annoying, and that's character. That's not hard to do, in my opinion.
But did this actor try to do it, or
he
just playing him?
No, he's playing him. He didn't feel like a Chris Tucker ripoff. Basically, sorry to say that he's kind of a black actor stereotype, being short, annoying guy, right? So he played that. He played it reasonably well. But the guy who played Jackie, holy crap, this guy sucks. Sorry, who plays Jackie's role?
Yeah. Carter,
that guy sucks. That guy. Because here's the problem. One of the reasons why Rush Hour works, big reasons, is Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan's choreography, his fighting, and just stunts. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
This guy can't do any of that. A little bit of parkour at most. Really terrible, shitty, edited fight sequences.
I saw one of them.
And I watched one episode. Horrible. And I totally understand where I get cancer. Mm-hmm. So, good riddance to Bad Rush.
Yes. And also, in speaking of cancel shows, like I saw last week that Damien,
right.
from the Omen,
right.
that series from E&E got cancelled.
Right.
I don't care. I skipped the trailer. I mean, the movie was what it was, but why do we need a series of it?
Yeah, I heard Exorcist coming. I saw that.
Yeah. I saw the trailer for Exorcist.
Right.
Didn't do anything for me. It looked like a standard horror flick.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, it looked like a standard horror flick trailer, but just as a series, like I was looking at it like, why is this a series? Yeah. Why? You're telling me this whole season is just going to be about this, about Glenn Close's, Glenn Close is in it. Her daughter being possessed.
Right.
And this whole thing is going to be about, my daughter is being possessed, and now this exorcist guy has to, How long you got to let this thing run, I think the reason behind all this, all these remakes and stuff of movies, is because of the success that, I haven't seen Bates Motel, but I heard that was really good. Especially Hannibal.
Yeah, Hannibal's excellent.
Which I still don't understand why it got cut at third season. That's bullshit and politics. But that was what they did with that series, where I want to say it transcends, what we, the whole Silence of the Lambs thing, especially with that character. What it did, especially on a visual perspective, that was so well done.
But the series writers understood the character.
Yeah.
And they understood how to take this character in a direction and make it work. Like, okay, I don't like Red Dragon all that much. And I thought Hannibal. I
thought Red Dragon was okay.
Okay, but I
preferred it a little bit more than Hannibal.
Right, and Hannibal Rising, the movie, was terrible.
Oh yeah, that was fucking
a waste of time.
Awful, sorry.
Right.
Awesome.
No, but that's the thing. So, for me, you have to understand the character and the material. And very few writers, and again, typical Hollywood, shenanigans, is that you prefer to give a Hollywood writer who know anything about the character than somebody who could probably sit down, write a proper manuscript about it, and it could work. So that's it.
And this one thing I just want to mention behind it, like that is how you do psychological horror.
Right.
Not thriller where it's all about maybe he's crazy, maybe he's not. No, this is literally horror. Waiting for your head.
Yeah.
And I just like how they were just literally just pushing envelopes, like from a visual perspective. Like there was just so much of gory and graphic stuff and this disturbing shit going on.
Yeah.
But still it showed on TV, and NBC aired this shit for 3 seasons. Yeah. I just love that series. Right. But moving along from Exorcist, now we have to talk about Lethal Weapon. Why?
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of Lethal Weapon 4 when it came out, but I prefer the previous 3 movies, especially 1 and 2, classic shit.
Yeah.
But why Demon Wayans? Why this other guy who I don't know? I haven't seen the movie. Why?
I keep telling people. Tell him that Demon Wayans not that bad, and I keep telling him only Keanu Ivory is the talented one. Everybody else,
even when Keanu Ivory did that, remember A Low Down Dirty Shame?
Yeah,
that was an action film, but it had comedy in it. The way he was was great
Excellent.
in that. Yeah. But Damon, I always see Damon as the
was Damon Wayans
my wife and kids.
He was the last Boy Scout, right?
Yeah. Oh yes,
Right.
he was great in that.
I kinda like
That movie
it.
was awesome. Shane Black.
Right.
I wrote that. You get to
Foreshadow.
Shane Black in a bit.
Foreshadow. Yeah. No, but for me, this trailer looked terrible. It missed. No, here's the thing. It has potential, where if you could do Riggs' character well, of him being this real, his wife dead, and he being the badass, but because of this and taking more risk, that kind of stuff, it could work if they know what to do. But this trailer, sorry.
No. Martin Riggs was always like this guy with the death wish. It's
right.
Like, he had nothing to lose.
Right.
If he wanted to, he could just put that gun to his mouth and just pull that trigger. He just didn't give a fuck.
Right.
You don't see that in this trailer.
Right.
When he's jumping on that race car and that thing, where's the death wish there? It's just, I'm a white boy, I'm trying to be a badass.
Right.
Ooh, look at me.
Right.
And here's David Wales. What the hell do you think you're doing, man? That
Right.
kind of thing. No, that's not who Danny Glover's character was.
Right.
Murtaugh was. No.
Right.
He was a responsible guy because he had a wife and family.
Right.
He couldn't go out his way to endanger his life because, he has his family and shit,
Yeah.
So we have Jordana Brewster in it from Fast and Furious. Like, that's
All right.
why they had that chase scene there.
Right.
Little sneaky bastards.
Yeah, a
Okay.
little cartoon.
Yeah, but what was funny though, I liked how Corey Coleman made fun of it in the Double Toaster review. If you haven't seen it, is the moment where Riggs is talking to Jordana character about when he went to Murtaugh's family for family dinner, and she asks the wife asks were you married before? He's like, yeah, I was, and then he had this flashback of the car crash, and then it's like boom, forget that, let me just cut to the next scene now, and that's how they do it. Cut to the next scene, like. You have this scene with emotional weight, and then let's just cut to a next shot of the city now, and some more shenanigans. It does not work, guys. No. And then one more thing, and Lethal Weapon was always this. I don't want to call it hardcore, but it was always edgy. It was always R-rated. It was actually, especially the first movie.
But see, this was it for its time.
Yeah, for its time.
Everyone is older now and family people, and that's why it's on CBS. CBS. This is what CBS thinks is edgy.
No, it's CBS or Fox. I think it's Fox.
It's
Fox. Yeah.
Wow, that means going to cancel real fast.
Yeah, and and on the subject of Fox, just one more trailer we have to talk about quick. Rocky Horror Picture Show. Wow, starring Laverne Cox. It's going to be the first transgender actor to have a leading role in a show, a TV show.
Yeah.
Wow, big hype.
They actually pull it off. And the thing is, this person I actually root for in many ways. He's a very good actor.
I liked how I like this character in Orange is the New Black.
Right. He had what was cool about his character had a twin brother. So when in Orange is the New Black, when they did the show.
Right. I remember. Yes.
Flashback scenes. The twin brother was playing when he was a man.
When he was a man. Okay. I didn't realize it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anyway.
Yeah. But here's the thing with me and this show. I'll just run through it quick. I love cult films. I love the appeal of it. I love how just where they are, and just for me personally, just sitting down in the dark and just watching all these weird entertaining films. But for some reason, I just could never get into the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Right.
Like I know the appeal of it, like in the States, all these sold out crowds, everybody dressed up in like the characters and singing all these songs, but I just couldn't get into it. I saw these films twice, and it's just like this is the average musical, just with more weird shit, and
that's
really disappointed in it. I hate the end. I'm probably one of the only people in the world that just hate that ending. But okay, now you're gonna get a movie fit, so what? It's gonna be like Lino. It's a TV show. I thought it's like a special.
Oh really?
I assume it's a special because it's coming out for October, Halloween, right?
Okay.
So I assume it's just this one night only thing.
Okay.
It's gonna be like Glee, you're gonna have a lot of singing, you're gonna recreate stuff.
Well, if it's just a special, then it'll be awesome. I thought it was a series. I just watched it.
Like a series other than that? Nah.
Yeah, okay.
Because I don't know if you know, the premise is just this characters end up in this castle, haunted castle for one night. So are you gonna stretch this thing out to a series? But then again, if they want to do something with Exorcists and Lethal Weapon, who knows? It might be this thing to a series. I don't know. But I have to look up and really see if this is going to be a series or a special. Right. Whatever. So moving on from trailers into movies now. So I haven't seen Money Monster.
I saw this.
I haven't seen Keanu. I will just shut my mouth and catch my breath for a few minutes while you talk about. While you wax poetic about those shows.
Right. Okay. So I want to get into Keanu first. Keanu. So this is the first film by Keanu.
I want you. I don't need you.
this show didn't work for me. I wanted to like it. I like Keanu.
Mhm.
It's a funny show. It's a
I agree.
good
Yeah.
sketch. But sadly they fall into the usual sketch comedy trap when you make movies, which is you take a bit, try to stretch a bit out. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Bit
It
work-
runs on the
bit-
steam.
Yeah, bit work for 5 minutes, and then the bit stop working. This one didn't work. So it was basically the one bit that they keep using, the one running bit is what you call code switching. The thing with Keanu as comedians is they are not black comedians. You know, that's clear about that.
Yeah,
They are biracial comedians.
and they always play off that biracial.
They are,
About
yeah, they are biracial very, very well. I remember a couple of days ago I saw an interview with Ari Spears. He used to
from Matt TV.
Matt TV with Matt TV with them, and he made a point about them. He said how when they play, he said one of the problems he have with Key and Peele is that when they play black characters, it's not as if they play black characters. It feels like black guys who play stereotypical white guys who play stereotypical black guys.
Okay, but
That's
I know they do play stereotypical black guys. At the
Exactly.
point.
But you see, when they do it like that. They do it really crappy. Like there's like guys, not all black guys who talk or think. They play. It feels like a white face and then a black face on it.
Oh, but it's even if it's meant to be satirical.
Right. It don't work.
It
Like
doesn't work.
that's one reason I find Key and Peele never really worked for me personally. Like I get them. I get why they found it funny. I get who they appeal to, which is not me. But they never really worked for me in that sense. When they do black comedy, playing black characters, never really work.
Right.
The bits never really work for me.
Like the Obama sketch and.
Some of the sketches work, but other stuff just doesn't work. As in my opinion, again, a lot of people think they're just playing and catering to a white audience, and that's basically it. So it feels like that.
Dude, you see, you ever notice the audience for Key and Peele, like, well, especially with the first few seasons, mostly white, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I didn't talk about the crowd. I mean, I just a studio crowd. I don't
Okay.
really care about it.
Yeah.
Talk about the actual demographics. of it.
Demographic, right?
Right. And that's basically this movie. This movie is just this one bit of them being black guys who live in quote unquote white lives, which is it's just guys, just corporate. There's two guys in a normal corporate life.
Right, and then they brought it to the
guy,
ghetto.
right. That's the story. The guy, so the Jordan Peele's character, I forget the character's name by the way. They're cousins.
Oh, okay. I thought it was his friends.
Right, no, yeah, they're cousins in this. And Jordan Peele's character, his girlfriend leaves him, his fiancée, I forget,
Mhm.
whatever, and he's depressed. Then he finds this cat. So, but what happens at the beginning? Some guys decide to shoot up this famous this drug lord, kill off a bunch of drug guys.
Right.
Actually, a really kind of a funny opening sequence. And then they decide to the cat runs away and then looking for the cat. And the cat comes to Jordan, and then Jordan is inspired by this cat. And again, it is a very aimless plot.
Yeah, but
Then
sorry, go ahead.
then some gangsters come and raid his apartment and get the cat. But they were supposed to raid his drug pusher's apartment. Some white guy played by Will Forte.
Okay.
Again, everybody was unfunny in this film. So Will Forte was this kind of gangster kind of guy, but he living with his mother. And it's a dumb bit like out of the Cleveland show.
Oh,
It's
I was thinking like Christopher Walken, True Romance kind of
no. It's gangster in the sense, right? He's just this kind of ghetto guy, kind of Jamie Kennedy kind of thing.
Okay, like I mean, like he just talks stuff. That's what I meant.
Yeah, he's a bitch.
Right.
That's your point. He's selling not just for drugs, and then the drug guys come to him, and then Method Man is the person in charge of the drug lords.
Yeah, I know Method Man. So.
And he was in it, and then they had to play gangsters.
Yeah, so once again, Method Man plays a drug dealer. He played one in
Right.
Hawaii. He was
And then-
cheese.
Right. And this is cheese. Method Man is cheese and character. I think he's saying cheese or something. I forget. Cheddar, sorry.
Oh gosh, really?
It's cheddar. That's a joke. Yeah.
Oh
And
wow,
it's a bunch of like lazy references.
Yeah.
So it's cheddar, and then so the cat, he had the cat as his pet cat, but he wanted to keep the cat. And then some other guy was fighting over the cat. This what is Luis Guzman?
Oh, he's in that shit too.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was terrible.
All right, but that's just one question
They had
before
again, as I say,
Yeah.
the whole joke about this is just showing this kind of the class war aspect of unrace in
Right.
America. And so they have where Key's character in particular, he's like this real straight-laced white guy. You know, but he's black, he's light skinned. Well, it's that biracial thing where you don't see race, and then when you actually talk to real people in the ghetto, it's how unbelievably disturbing and sad their lives are.
Yeah.
So they keep referencing that, like how, well, what happened to you? And then he talk about like I had it bad, and he had to like measure up bullet wounds and to show how much horrible injuries and traumas these guys had. And then he had to compare, and he's like, well, these bad guys, they took out my appendix. Like, so he had to do some corny shit, but spin it as if it's.
Like,
and it's all of the jokes fall flat. All of the jokes fall flat. Doesn't work. It's the same. It's essentially the same joke told over and over and repeated, and it's just different sections to the bits. But it's not any good comedy. The script itself doesn't really work. It just bad editing as usual, acting is shit. And then they had a big, kind of bigger reveal in the ending with a character. She revealed herself to be something and she was not, and that's the story.
Yeah. One question.
This movie did not work for me. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one question. When I saw the trailer for the first time, I just didn't know what to make of it. But when I saw the title of it, the first thing that came to my mind was John Wick.
Right.
You know, Keanu Reeves.
Right.
This whole thing with him going up against the Russian mafia because he killed his dog. So I thought
right.
it was going to be a parody.
A little bit of that. A little bit, but they didn't really do that in it. They have a reference with Keanu Reeves in it. Again, it's a really stupid. Here's the problem. They keep telegraphing a lot of jokes in it. So, like, okay. This is I don't need to tell you because the movie will tell you directly anyway. So it's not like me spoiling any humor for you. There's a section with Keanu Reeves' voice. So, Key's character takes a drug. Gets high.
It's one of those stoner moments.
He got it right. Going a stoner moment. And they have this whole bit with what's this guy named by? What's his singer's name? By famous singer. Who they basically replicate his music video where you have it's black and white and you have his jeans.
Not Robin Thicke.
No, not Robin Thicke. He's the original Robin Thicke. Back in the 80s. So I forget the actor's name.
Oh,
Freedom. He's saying Freedom. Freedom. Well,
George Michael.
Thank you. George Michael. They have a bit with George Michael. So he goes into a dream where he's in the George Michael music video and they shoot it almost identical so it's looking VHS and kind of
yeah. And they did that skit before
and they did the same bit
with the football players, which was cool though.
Right.
I like that skit.
Anyway, they had the same crappy and everything tracking and right. And they have this whole bit with him on drugs and then they go to a scene with Method Man holding Keanu. And it's Keanu Reeves, the actual actor, voice.
Right.
And they hear in the Matrix music in the background.
Oh,
and instead of just now, if they just play the Matrix music alone, it'll be like, okay, I get where this music is from. It's the Matrix.
Right, but you have to have Keanu talk about I am the one.
The Key's characters in the story, like, I get it. It's the Matrix. Like, he has to sit and make that. I like, why does he kill the joke in that way? I get you have to be self-aware, but this is not how to apply self-aware humor. It didn't work at all. Then the ending was really stupid with Luis Guzman's character as the gangster and they had a big shootout. Yeah. And they had this stupid arc where apparently Key's character was working with them to talk to each other about helping each other. And then at the end, they start helping each other to work together because he's like that's his thing in the office now. Like this kind of
So you have to have that kind of nice, cheerful end.
Right. But the thing
nice.
is, it's so poorly edited. At no point you get that as an arc. Like you get them, you're like, oh yeah, they were talking about it, but like, why is that an arc now?
Right.
As a resolution to something. This was terrible for me. I don't know why this has such a high score.
Yeah, on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't get that at all. This movie is nonsense.
So what would you rate this?
This, I'd give this probably at best a low blow. This is a waste of time. I wouldn't go as bad as Cat School or anything like that, but this was a pretty shitty movie for me. This didn't work. Look, I like Key and Peele. I get what their appeal are. They're funny dudes. But this is a bad outing. They really fall into the Saturday Night Live trap.
Yeah.
You know, where you do a sketch and then they stretch that shit out too long and then you don't know how to write a good script. And then it didn't work at all. So this was rubbish. Really bad. Anyway.
Alright, moving on to
Money
Monster.
Right, Money Monster is not that bad.
Right. Directed by Jodie Foster.
Yeah, Jodie Foster.
Who also directed a few episodes of Orange is the New Black.
Right. Yeah, no, but Jodie Foster, it was competent. Competent movie. Everything was competent. Not brilliant, not auto brilliant.
Yeah, it just told its story.
Told well. So the story is that some odd set of money went missing, like $800 million, close to $1 billion, just suddenly went missing. So this big company that was, had this big stock doing good, then stock suddenly didn't do so good, and a bunch of people lose money, right? Ton of cash to lose, right? And this guy, what's that boy named? Batman. He was Batman of it.
George Clooney.
Yes. George
Clooney. Know that.
Yeah, no. George Clooney. His role. He's playing. What's the name of that show, boy? Mad Money. Mad Money.
Mad Money.
Yeah, that was a show.
Yeah.
It
looked familiar. Like when I saw it from the trailer, it reminded me of a show.
Right, that show Mad Money, and it's kind of the same thing. This guy is a finance investor fella, and he just talks such shit. And it's that character. It's that guy, and then you had Julia Roberts. Mm-hmm. She is his producer in the show, and she's run the show, very well done. It's just piecing information. It's more like an entertainment show than a finance show.
Yeah.
But it's finance advice, and you have where it is you kind of get inside scoop stuff, and then you talk about it. So you get to see how he operates and how he learns information. You just have inside with friends in companies,
right?
Or he'll get the product early or whatever it is. So like in the beginning of it, you see him get like something akin to a cream that's equivalent of something like a what do you call it, Viagra type cream, and it works.
Okay.
So that means if it works and it works quite well, that means the stuff will go. So he knows you'll get to try out stuff really and test to see if it really works, and then if it works and it's awesome, he get to tell the advice and the stuff will go up, and the stuff will actually go up because it actually works.
Okay.
So it feeds in.
Yeah.
They're just like Mad Money. The name of Money Monster is the name of his show.
All right.
Right. And what it is that so it's episode the producer, she's going to leave the show. She's close to leaving the show.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like it's not. I think it's the last episode or close to the last episode. So while the show going on, and they're talking about the big crash, this guy comes on, sneaks in to the thing, and he basically holds George Clooney's character hostage. And then you find out he says the probability of this thing happening as a crash is slim to none. So that's a bullshit. Hate it. And he's gonna kill. He had a bomb.
Strapped to his chest.
He had a bomb. He had a gun to his head and say, "Look, I'll shoot so and so. I'll shoot him in the head and I'll blow up the whole studio if it does resolve the problem." Basically, this company shut the shenanigans, and they basically have to unravel this plot of the guy. Why does he lose $800 million?
Mm-hmm.
What they did is he basically did finagling with the programming, with quantitative reasoning, finances. As a lot. The thing is, I found it funny because I'm familiar with all these finance terms. So I got it, and they even made a reference to Nassim Taleb in it, which was really funny.
Okay.
Like, these are finance guys.
All right.
Anyway, the film wasn't so bad. It was normal. The plot was okay. It had an interesting plot. It explained quite well why the guy lost his money.
Mm.
It's a bad reason that shit used. Because the plan, kind of spoiler, what he does is he does something in Africa to cause a strike that'll drop the stock, and then everyone will buy, and then he expect the strike to end, so it'll go up, and he'll make a ton of money. But what ended up happening is that the guy in Africa didn't stop the strike.
Oh,
so the guy was actually legit. Like, he thought he'd pay off the guy to have the strike, but it ended up being a real strike instead of a fake contrived strike. That's it. And the money ended up losing. So all that money spent to get the strike financed didn't pay off. There was like a mine and the whole thing, and the stock price was supposed to go back up, and he had to interfere. And basically he had to hide and run around. And then they had a bunch of stuff going on all around the world of how all these factors in the world will interfere with finance, everywhere else. So this guy who wrote the program in Korea, and then this guy in Eastern Europe, and it had a whole thing.
Well, all these financial stuff that you explained to me, is this plot going to just fly past people's heads?
Not
really. Be like
confused,
right?
No, it was explained reasonably well. Because why they made it work is because the characters who did all the tech talk are the idiots, and they were in the backlog of it, because in the end of the day, no one understands what's happening. That's kind of the whole point. And they did that really well. They only have a handful of people who understand, and the people who do understand up to no good. And they did a good job of telling that. It's a straightforward story. Nothing too brilliant.
What about acting wise and directing? And...
George Clooney was the only person I liked. Everybody else I hated.
They were just two-dimensional?
Yeah, that's normal. George Clooney was very genuinely. I thought he was genuinely funny. The guy who played the hostage guy, I forget his name. He was okay. Mm-hmm. The main villain, he's always playing main villain. You see him. He's always playing douchey white guy.
Is it Dominic West?
I think so.
Yeah, from The Wire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, great actor.
Right. He was in it. The girl who was his assistant, she had some funny moments, but I don't think she was particularly good either. And it was kind of funny at its moments. It wasn't bad.
But is it like what, a thriller, dramatic?
Yeah, dramatic. Yeah,
thing, right?
But nothing too dramatic, nothing too thing. I give this CC.
Yeah. It looks like something that you might see on like USC or something.
Right.
Network.
It's a very dated idea, but it could have worked. Like if it was done in the 80s, it would have been like, whoa, this is well brilliant movie.
Yeah, like pre or post Wall Street or something.
Right. Yeah. But now it just kind of dated, and they just decided to do the modern version of it. That's it. That's it. Didn't really work for me that much. That's normal.
Alright, cool.
That's it. Keanu.
I'll look up for it on cable, I guess.
Yeah, just wait.
Yeah, Keanu.
Nothing special.
Probably will download it when I feel like it.
Nah, yeah, that was rubbish.
All right, so now we're gonna get to a show that, two shows actually that we both saw, well, individually, of course. First one is Nice Guys.
Yeah.
And second is X-Men Apocalypse.
Yes.
So let's jump into Nice Guys.
Ah,
All right.
liked it.
I enjoyed it.
Yes.
I would say this much: I have always been a huge fan of noir.
Yeah.
That the genre of noir,
Yeah.
and neo-noir in particular.
Yeah.
Taking that old school noir style of the 40s and 50s and just adapting it to, to fit a more modern day sensibility.
Yeah.
So like in this case with the Nice Guys, actually it's set in LA, which is like the poster city of all noir apparently.
Yeah.
There's lots of films, that are set there.
That a whole damn game base called LA Noir.
Yes, LA Noir. Oh my goodness, I always forgot that game. Yeah. And right, I was saying, yeah, so it's set in LA and it's in the set in 1977.
Yeah.
Right? And instantly as I saw that, I was reminded of two films in particular. First one being Chinatown.
Right. Yeah.
Which was set in the 30s, but the movie came out in 1974. It was set in LA, of course. And yes, it dealt with social issues, or just certain matters that took place at that period. And they also do it as well too in this movie. I'll mention it a bit. But it has this kind of 70s kind of style to it, the way how the characters move and act, and you see the way how they relate to each other.
Yeah.
And the second film came out a year before. It was called The Long Goodbye.
Yeah.
I don't know if you are familiar with an actor called Robert Gould.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was the star of it. He played oh gosh, it's this famous noir detective character. I think oh gosh, I forget myself. I think Humphrey Bogart played him before Sam. I think it was Sam Spade. Either Sam. No. It's either Sam Spade or Robert Marlowe. I think it's Robert Marlowe.
Right.
That character. But in that case, it's not set in the 30s or anything like that, or the 40s. It's set in the 70s.
Right.
So the way how that film was, the way how it was made, it was told, is basically you took that old character from the 40s and you put him in this 70s world, and just to see how he would react to certain things. And there were certain things like in this movie here that kind of allude to that, like this kind of like offbeat character. Like I saw that actually with Ryan Gosling's character.
Yeah.
And the hitman characters, like Keith David as well, to remind me of those.
Yeah.
Especially that guy, the one who
Blueface.
Blueface, yeah. He reminded me of a character from The Long Goodbye.
Yeah.
And just had this really,
it did all the tropes. It covered pretty much all the tropes of the as I said, the noir.
Right, and it also had this really offbeat style to it. It was kind of non-linear. You wasn't sure exactly where the story was leading. It was more character driven, and then it kind of ends like, oh, didn't expect that, but okay, it was cool.
And that's slightly anticlimactic ending, which worked.
Yeah, and you saw that with this movie here.
Yeah, which worked a little bit. Yeah, they really went. No shame. I thought the strength of this film, the strongest part of it, the dialogue and writing. Yes. The dialogue is very good, very funny, and it had a natural feel to everything, especially Ryan Gosling's character. So
yes.
You had some great, and what I liked about it is that the wide worked is that they had him, how he thinks. So you get a sense of how he thinks, and how he has a kind of an off the wall, eclectic approach to his thinking.
Yeah.
It's just randomized approach that works for the most part. He stumbles his way to the answer.
Mm.
And it's how you see how his brain works. So I'll give an example. They had a great bit. He constantly talking about Hitler.
Oh yes,
series, right? Yeah. But then he was trying to find the word for a particular thing. When in the story, when he went up the elevator, he said Munich, right? He said Munich. Okay, he had Hitler on the brain.
Right.
Keep saying Munich, but what he was trying to talk about was a guy who loses his genitals, which is eunuch.
Ah.
So you see how they got a nice organic approach to how people will think. It's really good character building.
Yeah.
It's a good characterization and it's excellent characterization.
Even like in the first 10 minutes where you saw both characters, you got some nice characters.
And they built up very, very well. And just that randomized approaching. Another thing that really worked in this is the physical comp.
Yes.
Very good. Like very random. Nothing felt choreographed. It didn't feel, I was like, wait, they do these random takes. How to shoot this though? Really impressive. Little simple stuff.
Yeah.
Him tripping over tables, him, stuff like that. Him falling and how he fell.
Even like Russell Crowe, how he just punch a guy, pow, and all that.
Yeah, but stuff like how characters fall, move, bounce around the scene, right? And the action sequences, you got that with it. So characters fighting, and they, like when the girl fall and slip.
Oh yes.
Slip, and it like, oh, this is really well done in that way though. It's like,
it wasn't too over the top. It felt real.
At no point it felt clearly choreographed or done, and it felt really natural. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is well done.
Right.
The plot itself wasn't so bad.
Yeah. You
but
want
I
me
like-
to
yeah.
talk about the plot?
Yeah, you go.
Okay. All right. So the plot is basically these two characters, right? So Russell Crowe plays Jackson Healy. He is an enforcer, so he is not like the guy that you call on to. He's not an actual detective, but he's just a guy that you call on, like, you know, if somebody's giving you trouble, you know, just pinpoint him to that person. He'll come. He'll tell you, okay, don't give this person any trouble. You know, you want to give him any static, pow, hits in the face.
Yeah.
He's that type of person. He's the brute. And I also forgot to mention there's a new noir, another classic film that actually came out in 1997 called L.A. Confidential.
Yeah.
Which also starred Russell Crowe. He was a cop, but he was just that really aggressive, brutish type of character. He was the person that would just break down doors and just, you know, beat the shit out of people just because.
Yeah.
That was his character, and I saw a more humorous version of that. So yeah, he does slug guys in the face, but you know, it's all done in a kind of comical way, like, you know, don't touch little girls anymore. Pow!
Right.
You know, that kind of shit. And then we have Ryan Gosling's character. He plays Holland March. He's a private detective. His wife died recently, so now he has to take care of his 13-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
Played by Angourie Rice. I think this is her first role, but I'll just say this off the bat. She was damn near impressive in this movie. My goodness,
really
yeah.
good.
I like that she was serviceable. She wasn't just in the background like, Daddy,
Yeah.
please.
Great-
No,
great
she
character.
did stuff. She actually
Yeah.
assisted. Even when the dad was like, no,
she,
stay in the
she
car.
put on the plot.
Yeah, she did things. I
And she
love
didn't,
that.
yeah, she didn't feel forced or shoot on or nothing like that. Great character.
Yeah.
Totally good.
So basically, without revealing too much of the plot, because this is a new noir crime murder
Right,
mystery,
so
so the less you know, the better. You go in and you
Yeah.
see things develop. That's the fun of it. That's how these films work. So they're both looking for this particular girl. Well, both of them really under the impression that she's dead, you know, Emilia, and it happens right after the death of this porn star named Misty Mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to find the name
The
of
opening
that.
sequence of this is hilarious.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was. It really sets up
Yeah.
this whole
Yeah.
tone of it.
Yeah.
You know, darkly humorous, kind of vulgar,
Yeah.
but it works.
Yeah.
And eventually, you know, they decide, okay, well, we're looking for the same person. Let's try to team up. Let's try to be buddies and, you know, try to get this case done without getting ourselves killed.
And the idea was that they were going to just kind of scout for more money to make more cash.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
they just stretch the case out.
Yeah. And just like with Chinatown and Long Goodbye, you know, you think, you know, one thing happens and then leads to something else, and then you realize, wait a minute, what's going on here? It's all this. It just keeps going and going and going until everything all revealed.
Yeah, it goes from A to B to thing, and then it comes back. It comes back full circle with the plot. Weaknesses. I'll say some of the editing a little off, and most of the non-linear approach to the storytelling didn't really feel that so much.
Oh,
and then
there was this one scene where I remember where Russell Crowe's character gets up, he sees a word. These cards, you know, like a word of the day kind of thing.
Right.
And he's trying to think about it in terms of like how he would see this in a sentence, and then he remembers
his wife, right?
His wife, his ex-wife. And then it cuts back to no, it's kind of like,
oh no, but that was funny. Though. That was more funny.
But I get the joke, but it's kind of like,
yeah.
All right.
No, they do some like, okay, so the only issue I had was the main villain, if there was a villain at all.
It's always like that. There's a villain, but you're not really sure if he's the main villain.
Right, but what they did with it, I didn't really care for, and like it just kind of, even though it was set up throughout the movie.
But it's trying to do a Chinatown thing where it's like this big
thing,
public figure, and he's doing something really shady, and then murder, and you know.
Yeah, well the characters are shit.
Yeah, we won't say who, but
but no, what they do with it, it kind of was anticlimactic, but it was still workable because it's the government and
so this kind of like, hey, well, you know, crime solved, but you know, life goes on. It has a kind of end.
What they did, what I thought was clever, what I think was clever with it also is that they did the idea of, you know, the cooks, the hippies, the ones who kind of brought on kids, because that was the character.
Oh yes.
Was talking about the main thing, and then when they get into one of the characters, like, oh shit, the character is that thing, and that's why this is how to tell the story. Because actual evidence or something like that is not the way to go with. And they sort the story out and why it is displayed out. Good characters. Keith David was good in this.
Yeah. Keith David, he was one of the bad guys. He was one of the tough guys actually.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. But what I really like though, the writing as well from Shane Black. He co-wrote it with another guy, I forgot his name, but he also directed this film.
Yeah.
And he does a great job, you know, directing it.
Yeah.
I loved how, even right down to set design, cinematography, it looks and feels like you're in the 70s. Even right down to the music.
Yeah.
You saw freaking Earth, Wind and Fire do one of the
Cool.
big songs in it as well too. But I find the soundtrack was kind of like, let's just pick the best songs we could think of in the 70s, just straight in. But it worked for the most part, you really got to see like the decadence of the late 70s, I don't want to say Studio 51, like that party that took that kind of, where it's just anything grew.
But that's just one kind of one
drug, sex.
Yeah, that's kind of one main sequence in the movie. But it was, I thought...
but really the characterization and just the way the chemistry between Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe is fantastic. I love that. Really made it work for me. The story, like I say, is something you really have to kind of get invested to. You have to be aware of the style of the genre of this film, because it pays a lot of homage to like the neo-noir films of the 70s, like I mentioned. So if you're really not familiar with that, then there's always films like, say, Big Lebowski, also pay homage to those kind of films.
It kind of came full circle in the sense of it was being homage to that, but it was kind of a parody because it's a very funny movie.
Yeah,
at the same time.
There was a lot of like weird stuff,
but it's dark,
just fantastical stuff.
But they made it dark too, and they explain why it is that the quote unquote nice guys part of it, which is they're two pretty shitty people.
Yes, they established that.
And again, why the daughter character worked, because she kind of made them good guys. It wasn't for her. Both of them.
Yeah, she had morals.
Right, exactly. She kind of cleaned up the two of them, and it made it work. And what they did with it, again, little pace in the suits in terms of these characters and how they get from point A to point B. We're doing that, but that's more to do with editing and technical issues.
And while I did like the dialogue and the script and how it was handled, some of the jokes, I mean, I was laughing, but there were a few jokes that kind of fell flat for me. It's kind of like, maybe with another take,
that's what
it would have been better. That's like, we just go with the flow,
I get a feeling that. So you get a feeling that is that they're doing it again, but you see this new physical comedy is that they do a shot and it's like, that was just a damn good take for that, but it wasn't choreographed at all. That's where you get a feeling. So some of the just doing the straight take didn't work, and then other times it didn't.
And another thing too, just one more thing to mention. Also too, Shane Black, he wrote Lethal Weapon. So there's that style of action in it, especially with the chase sequences, the foot chase scenes and all that kind of stuff. It really harkens back to like that old 1987 Lethal Weapon movie. Also too, the shootouts as well too felt like some of the 80s, but in a very good way, not in a cheesy kind of look how corny those scenes look like in those films. It really felt really got a sense that people could die in these scenes as well too.
They did a lot of random shit with it. Like they had a guy like in the early part where the fellow shoot and he shoot the neighbor through the window. Little stuff like that is like, and it had like great world building, like little stuff like he had the girl the phone, hang up this phone, and she didn't hang it up, she just threw it. On the side, little stuff like that.
There's a lot of dark humor as well too. It's really not like you kick back, relax, and laugh. It's like you always get a sense that people can die.
People die. People
do die.
And it's
in the worst way too.
Random way. No, but innocent people. Innocent people die. They made it pretty well. There's a scene with Matt Bomer in this that's really dark. It's kind of funny at the same time. It's how it played itself out. Like, at the end he was like, wow. And it just ended. How that scene ends is very funny.
And finally, there's what I mentioned. It harkening back to Chinatown. Now Chinatown had this I don't want to call it a subplot, but it's just really the main story where everything kind of develops from where there's this water shortage, and you realize there's this one millionaire guy who's holding back the water for some reason. I wouldn't say what, you have to see the film. So in this case we have this your smog. There's this smog problem going around, and then
it's a very 70s thing.
And you actually see it like in the first day shot of LA. You see the smog there, and then you hear the news report. But then the story you're not sure. You just think, it's just smog, but then you realize, okay, the story has to do with that. Not gonna say what, but you have to see.
And they do a great job with the whole, especially with there's this funny part with some hippies.
Yes.
And they do a good job, and it's the same thing. So everything leads back to like, oh shit, they were telling the truth.
Yes, that was very Chinatown. Very nourish of it. I love that.
There's a funny, and the whole point of the news. So everything is very 70s. They keep referencing Richard Nixon. Funny bit. That's a funny bit. Especially the ending. That was funny. They did a thing with Brazilian bees.
Yes.
Again, very 70s. That's a bunch of
a nice cameo as well too by It's Hannibal
Burst.
Burst.
Yes,
that was his voice.
That was him.
It's like, holy shit, that's
That was,
Hannibal.
okay, it's something like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I really like this film.
Me too. I'll say this much. Like I saw a few reviews of it, and I know they hailed it as probably one of the best movies of the year.
I know about those.
I wouldn't say it's that.
Nah.
Like I didn't go in with my expectations that high.
Right.
But I really wanted what's still like a little bit more. Maybe if I did, I'd say I'll give it like a 5 out of 5 or whatever. But for me, for just being a fan of neo noir and just being a fan of Shane Black, and just loving the chemistry and what they were able to pull off, I give this a decent 4 out of 5 stars.
Yeah,
Definitely check it out. But I'll say this much: know the genre, know what you're gonna get into. This is not gonna be non-stop laugh ride. It's not gonna be a non-stop action film. It's murder, mystery, thriller, noir, comedy stuff.
Yeah.
And even if you don't care to see Chinatown or Long Goodbye, and you really should check those out, guys, if you haven't.
Right.
If you loved LA Confidential, if you loved Big Lebowski. Oh yeah, they do the whole drop-off thing with the money. I forgot to mention that's from Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
And of course, if you love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which was also written and directed by Shane Black, then you're going to enjoy this movie. So guys, don't sleep on the nice guys. Definitely go and check it out.
Yeah, for me this was I really enjoyed this. For me this was it was just it didn't gel together too well fully. It didn't congeal properly, but still
Agreed.
good, for the most part.
Need a little bit more work to it.
A little bit. But I give this a low IMAX.
Okay.
Pretty solid. Really, I was laughing a lot.
Yeah,
I was laughing a lot in this. I enjoyed it for the most part. And yeah, it sequel baits a bit at the end.
It
a little
does.
bit. And I want to see a part 2.
Me too.
I want to see a part 2.
If you can get Lethal Weapon 2,
I would like to see this guy a part 2.
So no, this could be the Buddy Cop.
Exactly.
Franchise.
It really felt like an alternate universe Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
It felt like that. It's like, this could have been Lethal Weapon. Because it felt like an old script that they finally pull off the shelf and get done. It felt like that to me.
Yeah.
Solid pick. One of the better films of the year for me. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, but Shane Black comes through once again with another great Buddy Cop movie.
Yeah,
so
solid.
Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Last Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
I can't remember the other two. The ones that he did in the 90s. I can't remember. Well, Iron Man 3. Did we have a buddy stuff?
With the little boy.
Yeah, with the little boy.
By the way, the same little kid was the same little kid in Iron Man 3.
Or the projectionist?
In the beginning.
Oh, the beginning. Oh.
No, not the projectionist. In the beginning. No, the kid who formed.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't realize.
That's the same little kid in Man.
Alright.
Cool.
Okay, so speaking of Iron Man and the 70s in particular.
Not the 80s.
Well, we're going to jump into the 80s with this one. So we're going to get to X-Men Apocalypse. So
the term of the day is superhero fatigue. This movie really, to me, embellishes that. Where, look, people getting tired of the good ones. People starting to get tired of this stuff. This stuff, in my opinion, this thing have about 3 years left. The superhero wave, and this was an example of superhero fatigue. This movie was, sadly, it's not a bad movie. I don't think it was particularly bad. I didn't hate it. Not as good as the last X-Men.
He's a feature pass.
But not much worse as opposed to what the critics will say. I mean, the critics are a little too harsh on this.
Yeah, I will talk about that.
But I understand why it gets these bad scores. But here's the thing. I didn't hate this. But this, I'll call this half-assed movie. Everything in this movie was half-assed. Everything. Half-assed script. Script could do about 2 or 3 more rewrites. Half-assed special effects. Special effects on CGI was terrible. Didn't finish.
I have my thoughts on that.
Choreography and fights didn't feel half-assed. Acting, they could have done a couple more takes. Some of the camera work, at times I was seeing a faster frame rate. I don't know if it was the projector I was watching it at down south.
Oh, I didn't pick up
I
on that.
noticed a faster frame rate in some of the scenes. Noticed that.
Okay.
I don't know what they was using. They're probably using a GoPro for the shot or something. I don't know what's going on. Faster frame rate. Notice that. I don't know what. Look up in the scene. Anyway.
Yeah.
It wasn't the worst thing ever. Want to run through the plot?
Alright. So before I get into the plot, I will say this. I was never the hugest fan of the X-Men movie franchise.
Never good.
I loved the animated series.
Only first class was good.
Yeah. Well, right. So I appreciated X-Men when it came out in 2000. I appreciated it.
Yeah.
I loved X2. I still think it's one of the best movies of the past
Never
decade.
liked X-Men.
I love that. Okay.
Didn't like it.
Because of just how they were able to transcend, what they established in the first film. It just went bigger and better and bolder with that one. X3 or X-Men The Last Stand was a disappointment. And I know a lot of people will compare Apocalypse to that, but I think the reason being is because you really set up something really grand, something bold, and you don't get it. But even though with The Last Stand you didn't get anything grand in terms of, yes, the mutants are going to unite and going to stop humanity once and for all. There's all this stuff before with Xavier's death and Cyclops' death that just pissed me off. I just didn't like how they were handled. I didn't like that at all. Then we had X-Men Origins, Wolverine.
Yeah, that was just disastrous.
No, I didn't see it in theaters, but I saw the rough cut of it because it just leaked online. I mean, who didn't see the leaked version of it? And yeah, we got our first look at Deadpool, and it was awful and all that kind of stuff. And didn't care so much about Sabretooth's character. And yeah, I mean, I have no beef against Liev Schreiber as an actor, but
actually, I think that's actually one part of that worked for me. Making
his character.
Yeah, his character with Wolverine and making them brothers. And like that wasn't the worst idea. Although I had some people who hated that. I didn't hate that. I thought it was fine.
So one thing I didn't like, and you kind of see it with subsequent films, is how they try to bring in little, here's Gambit, here's this guy, here's Will.i.am playing, I forgot the character he played, but he was a mutant. You just be like, and didn't serve any purpose apart from, here's Gambit, but anyway. Yeah. Then we got X-Men First Class. It was a breath of fresh air. It came out in 2011, I believe.
Yeah,
Matthew Vaughn of Kick-Ass fame did it.
Yeah.
It just breathed new life into it. You really, to me, I call it the Magneto story.
Right.
This is like the beginning of Magneto.
It was supposed to be, if I remember correctly, it was supposed to be that because remember they were supposed to have a bunch of X-Men origin movies. So it was supposed
okay.
Right, so it would be X-Men origin Wolverine, X-Men Island. Because Wolverine did so poorly, they decided to scrap Magneto in that. They said, alright, we're not going to have a whole Magneto movie. They should have.
Yeah.
They should have, because it was the best part.
He was the best character in the whole
But his parts, all his little parts where he was hunting down Nazis, they should have had a whole hunting Nazi movie. I'd have watched that and enjoyed it.
And he even had his team. He had his theme song. Like it was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah.
We got to see James McAvoy play Xavier. He was great. We got to see Jennifer Lawrence, everyone's favorite actress now.
Right.
play Mystique.
Yeah.
And a few other characters. We saw Beast. We saw Havoc, and a few others. We saw Kevin Bacon play. I forgot his character.
Sebastian Shaw.
Yes, Sebastian Shaw.
Yeah.
Right. So I really enjoyed X-Men First Class for what it did.
Yeah.
It really made it, and I loved all the grounded in reality. It was set in the 60s, during the whole, that whole fair with Cuba.
Yeah. No, I thought that was solid.
That was great.
Because that's what made those movies work. They did the whole historical revision stuff with the material.
And then right after that, exactly. And then I loved how they did that. And then right after that, we got Days of Future Past.
Right, solid.
And it was solid. I enjoyed it.
Didn't like it as much as Space Past.
I watched it over the day before seeing the show.
Here's
go on.
Here's what I think the first mistake was with this movie.
With Apocalypse, right? Okay.
In my opinion, they should have done Apocalypse. What they should have done, in my opinion, is like when Wolverine or whatever goes back in the past, or whoever decides to go back in the past, it was Wolverine for the sake of the story, right?
Yeah.
What they should have done is have, in the ending they should have changed the ending. I would have gone differently with Days of Future Past ending. What I would have done with it is have Magneto do something, tell something to Wolverine, to tell something to his past self, give him a message, right?
Right.
And then have him, so what he would have done, he would have fixed the Sentinel timeline and then turn it into a House of M timeline. If you're familiar with House of M. And I would have, this movie would have been House of M. And then we do Apocalypse after. Right? That's where I've gone with it. So it will lead straight from Days of Future Past and then have, because the best thing about these movies for me is Magneto. This character of Magneto, this guy.
Michael Fassbender.
He's the best thing in these movies for me. And
I mean, I do give credit to the original actor. I mean, he's still fine.
Ian McKellen is amazing.
Yeah, he's great.
Let's be clear. No,
just right down to look and everything.
Yeah, look, here's the thing. They get, like, the good things that came out of the early X-Men movies.
Right.
They made the gay allegory thing work well. Very smart at the time.
Yeah.
Right? In the original 60s was the civil rights black allegory, and this one is the gay allegory. And they make it work. He changed the dynamic of it. That worked.
Mm-hmm.
That is easily the smartest part, one of the smartest parts of that. Ian McKellen as Magneto, excellent. Charles Xavier, this fellow,
Patrick Stewart.
Great, but he didn't really do anything unusual. Just played himself.
True.
Right. And then, of course, Wolverine.
Yes, of course. Hugh
Became the
Jackman.
breakout. Became the breakout hit.
I'm good thing you mentioned that because I want to talk about that with the These Are Future Past thing.
Right. And because he was a big star, they started putting him in everything. That's why he was a star of These Are Future Past. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd have had House of M be the narrative and make that work. So you do the whole mutant worldview thing play out now. Like, what if Magneto gets his way? Kind of thing. So they decided.
Oh, I like the idea. So you have an alternate reality. Like what?
Right,
If,
because it's him changing the past. So it's instead of this shitty time, and we have another shitty time. I'd have done that, and then in the end of House of M comic spoilers is Wanda Maximoff, who is you see her in MCU, in Civil War.
Scarlet Witch,
Scarlet Witch, but they have the new Scarlet Witch. I've done Scarlet Witch. So you see how they do Scarlet Witch, we do the other Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
X-Men, much like I do Quicksilver. I'd have her reset everything, and then you're bringing up Apocalypse.
Okay.
So and then you do write a proper story. Again, I keep calling this half-assed movie because it had good ideas.
Yeah, but let's not just be worried. So before we
but
get
that's why they mess up the narrative because you could tell they kind of like X-Men, but they don't really give enough of a shit to like care as much as say how the Russells like their material. Like how that's the problem. And this movie so clearly tried to ape the MCU in its approach of telling action and telling a story.
Yeah.
It looked worse in many ways.
Yeah. But I was seeing with Days of Future Past though, it was a very ambitious film.
Right.
To see at least, just having
you brought back
probably the best character in the whole series, Wolverine having, it's set in a futuristic time, mutants are being killed left, right and center. So you have this basically a suicide mission of sorts where Wolverine's consciousness has to go back to, use his consciousness to go back to 1973 and get, basically stop the whole creation of the Sentinel program.
Right.
So we got to see characters young and stuff. We saw James McAvoy again. But, the one constant being Wolverine. And I loved it. I thought it worked. I love the fact that they use time.
I've not yet heard anyone give me a good proper explanation for a closed loop time-based system and explain that properly to me. I've not yet let anyone explain that to me.
Let's not talk about Looper.
It's functionally no different. Like every time somebody give an explanation that makes somewhat sense, it's functionally no different from a branching timeline scenario. Right? And then the ones that don't make sense is just a bullshit, and then everybody will tell me, I don't get it and I don't understand. Alright, I don't understand.
Well, you're not supposed to get it.
It's time travel. That portion. Whatever. Does Stella do the same thing? What else do it? Back to the Future do it, Terminator do it, everybody like to do it.
Looper, Jen.
No, Looper was ridiculous. Looper was ridiculous. Nothing
you could go in the past, kill yourself, and get older, and then
They never even keep up. They never even keep up with their own rules in the own movie. Well,
yeah.
Point is, I don't really care, and it's X-Men. It's like whatever.
Yeah, but as entertainment-wise, the movie was great. But fine, the thing is, watching it again and actually watching Rogue Cut, which was a very, very, very interesting viewing.
Okay.
Because it literally felt like a new movie. Like I was watching this and like, cause they were alternate takes, they were alternate shots, and they were extended scenes and stuff that they cut off from the movie. So it felt different, Okay. Rogue didn't really have that much of a big purpose. Slight spoiler. Right. She was just there in the future because remember the moment where Kitty got stabbed when Wolverine saw striking just right. So they had to save Rogue, who was kept inside of Xavier's mansion, and some scientists were there doing some tests on her. So Magneto and Iceman had to go break in, save her. So while that was going on, they were cutting back to where the Michael Fassbender version of Magneto was going into the room to get his helmet and stuff.
Okay, right.
So it was cutting back and forth. That was cool. Okay. So Rogue was just there to really assist Kitty in getting better so she could do the thing. And then when shit hit the fan, when the Sentinels came in and attacked, well, it's kind of assumed that she died, but as soon as everything come, that's when everything just kind of got wiped out and thing. But it was interesting, and we saw some more scenes, and they had like a love interest thing between Beast and Mystique,
right?
And they can explore it in this new movie here.
But they did that
in first class, yeah.
Right.
So it was cool. It was actually way longer. Like this version was 2 hours and 28 minutes total, while the theatrical cut was 2 hours and 11 minutes.
Okay,
so that was weird. But anyway. So I enjoyed that, but the thing that really stood out to me the most is that it wasn't too reliant on action scenes.
Right.
There was action. Don't get me wrong. There was action, but not tons of it. It's not.
You talk about Apocalypse? Or?
No. Well.
Right.
These are future past.
Right.
It's not Captain America Winter Soldier level action.
Oh yeah.
There was lots of character development. There was lots of tension being built.
Right.
And it was really the characters were driving the story forward. Not like, okay, we're in this room, so we have to fight because we're in this room, and people expect that.
Right.
Characters were, leading up to these points and that point, and then you have your action because you need it at certain moments, And I saw stuff like that in this movie here. And I appreciate that. It kind of felt like, and it's the same writer, by the way, Simon Kinberg, I think that's his name, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it felt a lot like how the previous film, how Days of Future Past was, where there was a lot of character building, a lot of just story and stuff. But I think the main issue is the same thing like with the Last Stand, where you have this grand thing, like, oh yes, the apocalypse is here, is here, and then the payoff just didn't really work as much as it could have.
That's what I keep saying.
But
Half-assed movie.
Yeah, so get into why you think it's half-assed.
Half-assed movie. Script, good ideas, didn't flesh it out quite well.
Alright.
So the story. Here's the story.
Right.
So the story is just
okay, right. So it's set 10 years later.
No, set in ancient Egypt. Right, in ancient Egypt.
Okay, well, you start off there.
So ancient Egypt, basically we see the early version of Apocalypse. So Apocalypse is this guy who apparently transfers his consciousness. I like what they did with that.
Yeah,
I like what they did with Apocalypse. So in the original narrative, Apocalypse is born in ancient Egypt. He's born in that time period, and he's the first mutant by every workable definition of mutant.
Right.
In this, we're not too clear if he's born in ancient Egypt. He could have been much older. All we see is a transfer of the body, and we get to see us guys of character. And all his powers is something akin to Wolverine's powers as an original mutant. And then some other guy who's Apocalypse. So Apocalypse is just like a spirit essentially.
Yeah.
He just transfers his consciousness into from body to body through this process. Yeah. Right. They never explain what it is, if it's an alien ship or how the technology works. Never explain. Don't need to actually, because they just have him where he could be much older. Anyway.
Oh, and by the way, between you and me, you didn't find that scene, that opening sequence was just like the Mummy?
Yeah, look.
Right down to the camera angles and just the
and all these
Emotep. Well, I know they didn't say Emotep is Aaron Summer, no, but it felt like the Mummy.
But what they did with it was, so they had to seal off Apocalypse. What happened? Some guys betrayed him. Say, hey, that to the false god. And
just like the Mummy.
Try to betray.
Someone within the group betrays oh, well, you can't survive because you're evil, so we have to stop you now.
Anyway, so while he was transferring, they tried to betray him, and then he was still sleeping, so he essentially died. Yeah. And all of his protectors, basically the original Four Horsemen, and that was a badass sequence. So they showed them with all these powers. One strong guy, the other guy with a shockwave that just turned them to bones. They had this girl who had like a force thing, and they fall, and it had a whole the place bury itself. And then she I think she didn't transfer her power. She just used all her strength to protect him. Right. And she created a force field around him, and it protect that. His body gets sealed away, and bomb. Yeah. She gets killed. And then,
by the way, right after that we get the title sequence, which I actually liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Bryan Singer always had a stamp on the films in that way. He told it's not Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's his own thing.
But what it told, just the passage of time and history, that was awesome.
Just do a quick thing. Just reach in front, introduce Moira. Again.
present actually, we're not in 93, so it's 10 years after the events of.
So we get to see a couple things. We got to see Mystique in this time period. She has to go meet Angel and
Night. Well, she sees Angel and Nightcrawler.
Here's the thing.
And here's the thing, she didn't age though. And
that's
real people argue and say, it's Mystique, so
Mystique is fine.
But come on.
No, in Mystique I didn't mind Mystique not aging, but Magneto nor Xavier aged either.
Yeah, they look the same. No, the biggest thing was Quicksilver.
Right, he didn't.
10 years from now, this man's still looking the same. Calm down, man.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Really? But
So they have her. She meets Nightcrawler. Now here's the thing. In the comic, many narratives have her as Nightcrawler's mother, right? Yeah. They did not address this, and I thought that was the case because they had freaking this guy in thing. We call him the devil. Shit, what's his name? Aziel.
Yeah. You mean in First Class?
First Class. Yeah. So I was like, oh shit, that's Nightcrawler father. Mystique. They're gonna hook up sometime. Never addressed. Never talked about in this movie.
I don't think Nightcrawler is related to her at all. She never comes off like, oh well, I will just settle down and have.
My point is that they never address this at all. Right. Anyway, but why even have her go find him if they never gonna address it?
But But the excuse is, well, I have to save my people and all that stuff. But then
so from the events of the future past, she becomes a hero because she saves President from Magneto.
Yeah.
For that, she does that, and then this is by far the stupidest part of it, where they show Magneto's past now, where how Magneto.
Magneto's
time
new.
spent.
Yeah,
time
spent,
and he's hideout somewhere in the Soviet Union, I forget which country, and he has a new family. It's by far the stupidest part because an arrow accidentally goes off, which is the stupidest thing ever. Yeah. Oh my god, that is what they call. This is what you keep calling about.
It's like what?
An arrow? Arrows don't work like that. Guns. No, I mean guns barely work like that. So
I mean when I saw the policeman with the arrows, like with the bow and arrow, like wait.
It wasn't even taught that well. Like I get
Are you sure about this?
I get why I have bows. Here's the first. First of all, if you're doing the accidental go off thing, have it be a mechanism switch, please, not an arrow where the man have to. So wait, you have this thing fully thought and then accidentally have it goes off. That's so dumb. Have it be a damn crossbow now. Oh shit, man.
It's not like you're in war and you're waiting to pull the arrow, you're waiting for the orders. Like, no, you had it like this all of a sudden.
Yeah, and the thing going straight hard, you know. That was so stupid, eh?
Yeah, but I like how Magneto got back at him. That was
here's the problem. No, but you don't need to do that. Magneto doesn't need any more pathos. He done good. Just have him hide out in the freaking steel mill now. Oh shit, man.
Yeah.
Don't need to have a new family for the new family to dead. All that shit you had to cut out of the damn movie.
Yeah, but there's a reason behind the police showing up to us, kind of like, well, dude, I just did this.
He saved
you want to call me out on this now?
He saved the fella life.
Yeah.
But he's a mutant. They don't like mutants. I get it. And the whole, again, the allegory of gay people, which is, Professor X is in the West, and, life's so easy for them here, but in other parts of the world, it's still bad for mutants. That's the point they're trying to make. But again, shitty script can't flesh that out.
Right.
Shitty script cannot flesh that out. But Magneto family death, that was just retarded. That was just straight. I was laughing at that part because
I did.
I couldn't.
Audience was like, oh.
No, I was laughing at that part because that was so stupid. I was like, well, this like at what point are they watch this and tell me I'm supposed to take that seriously? Guns not supposed to go off like that. Guns you have to press to make a gun go off if you want to. You have to press like a good bit of force to make a gun go off. With a crossbow, you can understand it latching on. It's a crossbow. Especially if you have a makeshift crossbow because they want to make a bunch of crossbows quick just to fight Magneto. Yeah. Because they can't use metal. Like I get that. So they go like one of the crossbows will go up, but not a bow and arrow.
Yeah, can I come with a better?
That was retarded.
And this was in.
That was
even like in Days of Future Past, men had plastic guns. No mind it was in the States.
That was extra.
But I think they had plastic weapons in Days of Future Past as well.
Sentinels was already in our century, so but no. Again, force script to force characters being angry for another reason, and he's so angry again, and then apocalypse look for him. So decided.
Yeah, it was kind of weird though because I understand I understand how Apocalypse was sourcing the other three horsemen. I get that. Well, except for Psylocke played by Olivia Munn. That was kind of weird.
He found Storm, which I get. Storm is the first one he found.
Yeah.
Storm. What they did with Storm was stupid because Storm is Egyptian now. What? Alright, whatever. Africa. Well, okay.
She looked cool though.
Yeah, she looked cool. She's a hot chick.
Yeah.
You look great.
Expect to see some cosplayers doing the Storm outfit.
She looked great, and I thought she was actually one of the better highlights of the movie. And then they decided to give her an arc because Mystique is her mentor because she loved Mystique.
Yeah.
Because Mystique was the big fighter.
The big female mutant that you have to look up to.
Right, I get that. It does it's fine. And then everybody looked up to Mystique, but they didn't really do anything with it. But whatever. Then Psylocke comes in arbitrarily. They have Calabac in this.
Yeah.
Calaban in this is like, what? Okay.
That's kind of weird though. I didn't pick up on it, but then when you started talking to it, it's like, oh,
yeah. There's Calaban, alright, cool, whatever. Moving on. Psylocke comes in, he gave her powers.
Amplified. That's what he does actually. He amplifies
he gives it, although he's instantly does it. But I like what they do with Apocalypse by making him organic in terms of he just collects powers over the centuries.
Right.
So that makes sense. And then, in the big plot reveal is that he wants Professor X because Professor X is like arguably one of the strongest mutants ever.
Of course, mental
great
powers.
Love it. So he has Professor X and he say, look, if you get Professor X, guys, they're gonna lose. Get that?
Right.
Good script. Like that.
Mm-hmm.
Good script idea.
Yeah.
Terrible script execution. Right? Because now they have to have this ridiculous fireworks show at the end. Just stupid.
Yes.
Stupid action.
Yeah, that was the one.
Stupid action.
Yeah,
What was
downside
Magneto doing in the end? Stupid action. Just have metal floating around him, and then he come back to fight.
Yeah, just because, well, Magneto, we expect that from him. We expect Magneto to have a good side, so you always have to come and save everybody.
They decided to rip off another sequence from First Class. No, not First Class, from Days of Future Past, where Quicksilver.
Oh, yeah. But I actually like that sequence.
Yeah,
that was cool.
sequence. Pretty good.
It went a little long, but I liked it. I liked what it did.
It still worked.
Yeah.
Worked for the most
It
part.
was entertaining. It was held.
Right. It's funny. Still worked. It was just as good as the one in the past. They decided to play Sweet Dreams for some reason. I don't know why they played that song.
Because it's the 80s, and we have to remind people it's the 80s.
But Time in the Bottle was more thematic with the...
Yeah, just the way how it flew.
Right.
But,
this one is... They should play a better song.
Right. Oh, yes, and we get to see, new characters. Well, old characters. So we have Cyclops.
Right, so they repeat Nightcrawler, Cyclops, and Jean Grey.
I like Cyclops' intro.
Good.
That was well done.
Yeah, like that.
Jean Grey, played by everyone's favorite Stark character from Game of Thrones, Sophie Turner. She was fine as well too. Yeah. Even at some moments I was like,
no, she was
Sophie
good. No, she was good. She was good.
Damn.
Yeah. I enjoyed this.
Ogden and stuff. Yeah.
Right. No, I thought she was good. She worked for me.
Even her accent, she
Nightcrawler,
got a kind of
Nightcrawler was okay, but again, because here's the problem. Again, this movie.
He had a function, but I find they didn't really develop his character.
Again, shitty script, couldn't flesh it out. So they instead of the movie couldn't lack focus. So they said they had to focus on Professor X, but they want to focus on the new kids, and they want to focus on this and that and the other. Couldn't gel together, and everybody just had to come back to the end.
Exactly. Yeah. That was one thing.
Then they had a nice little plot detour, which I kind of liked, where they decide Will Stryker grab a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And then you get to see Wolverine in Weapon X form, which was awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of people hated this, but I thought it was cool.
I thought it was cool because I mean, right after what happened with Days of Future Past, you want to know what happened because the way how that movie ended, it kind of left you wondering, what's going to happen to him now, and we get to see what happened here.
Right. And they make that work. And then Jean Grey kind of pulled something from his mind and make him run off in the snow. That's cool.
I also like the fact that it didn't stray away too much when you film it. Not like stop.
Right.
Let's just have a whole half hour on Wolverine because everybody loves Wolverine.
They just did that thing, right? They did that thing. I thought that was fine. And I was watching this entire movie. I was watching. Okay, by the way, the action with him slicing people was shit because it was a PG bullshit. No blood, no thing. That's
there was blood splatter.
But I wanted to see men get gut up. Whatever. PG bullshit. No rate to that. What else? Apocalypse himself.
We have to talk about Apocalypse.
Weak.
I find
again, I like what it did with it. This was a frustrating movie to watch in that sense because it's like all you have to do is just polish everything.
Yeah.
Everything felt unpolished. That's the damn problem. So unpolished script, unpolished editing, unpolished CGI. You could tell everything felt outsourced. So at the end of the film, I was watching the credits, just waiting for the post-credit sequence.
Me too.
They just had this huge block of CGI artists, and everybody.
I saw that.
Everybody was from India. All the names, India.
Oh. Okay.
I was like, they outsourced all of this stuff.
Yeah.
That's why all it looked like crap because nobody sit down and quality control it. Nobody sit down and say, all right, this looks like shit. Do this back again. Nobody gonna pay them for that, and they don't want to just want to do everything on the cheap, and that's why the movie looked terrible in that way.
Right, but
CGI looked horrible.
Right, but here's the way with Apocalypse. So, like, I remember when the first trailer came out, and people was going ape shit like, "What? This isn't Apocalypse. He looks like what Ivan Ooze from."
The outfit was bad. Sorry.
Yeah, like there's certain close-up shots of his face where you could tell it's rubber and stuff.
It didn't work.
I mean, I have no problem with Oscar Isaac as an actor.
Yeah, love him. Yeah.
His lines were
didn't work.
They didn't work. They were kind of cliches or like with basically the same stuff that you heard in the trailer. You get more of that.
Again, unpolished script. Because again, you can sit down and say, all right, let's sit down and make this work.
Yeah, but as a presence, I thought it would. He was menacing at times.
Yeah.
It's just that, give him a little bit more.
He had some moments, like the part where he touched the TV and he just pulled information from the
movie. I like that.
And he had one really speech. He had like a nice part. He had this cool part where they had the $25,000 pyramid. Love that. So, because he's from Egypt.
Yeah, the pyramid stuff.
Yeah, and he was like, pyramid is something in his head. Like, why did they just shoot that sequence? I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that montage was brilliant. I mean, Oscar Isaac was fine, but just if he was given more to do as a villain, as Apocalypse, just more presence. You felt like I said, there's this big grand thing that you set up. Oh yes, the first mutant. Yeah. This guy could destroy the world, but he just kind of comes off like just another Did I say another Magneto?
Yeah, he's Super Magneto. That's what the character.
Another Magneto.
Super Magneto.
I hate humans.
Right.
Let me just do this elaborate thing.
But they
Boom.
never explained that. They just had it where he just won the strongest. And again, the comic was never too clear on him, in my opinion. Or he was a character I never got his due personally.
Oh.
So he's Super Magneto, kind of, but he wants to select for the best and the strongest, kind of, not sure. But the future, and you want to make things greater.
And by the way,
But
this
he coming back.
the cartoon version of him, like for the old X-Men,
Right.
memorable as hell. You know
Right.
that I am the apocalypse.
Yeah.
It was over the top, but that's what I like. And in this one, it wasn't too over the top, but there were some over the top moments where it's like, humanity will fall, you know, that kind of line, and
Right.
then they always kind of distort his voice to make it sound a bit more, auto-tune it.
So,
So he would sound normal, and then the next phrase will be auto-tuned. It's kind of weird.
yeah, no, dumb.
Yeah.
Again, the final action sequence they wasted. Again, half-assed story.
I find it was just overblown. It was just
they wasted. No, the whole
it
thing,
could have been way
the whole
better.
thing with X and they explain how X loses here, which is I didn't care for, but whatever. Fuck it.
I saw like, oh, okay, well, they finally did it.
Right,
Okay,
well,
finally
they
did it.
explain why it happened.
Yeah.
Well, moving on. He went into his mind. They could have had a kick-ass psychic battle. They didn't do that.
And I think
They could have done so
they
much
did
more.
something like that in the cartoon. If
Right.
I'm not mistaken.
The
A
cartoon
dread
one.
mental battle
Yeah,
thing.
they could have
It was
done
really
so much more with that, with the whole mental battle thing. Didn't do it. All they do is the X-Mansion itself. This is my house, and give him 2 punches. And then they go into the cerebral room. And then Jean Grey comes out when she walk in.
Don't
straight
know
line.
what happens, but yeah, G. Grey
I was
steps
like-
in and does it.
And then, well, of course, they hint at Phoenix.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Okay.
I saw like, ooh, Sophie.
Yeah.
They
And I was like-
really look
I was
real
like-
sweet on that.
I was like, alright, okay. Phoenix, cool. Keep the pit pop
Yeah,
and she
but
blasts him.
the
and
thing
then-
is with
Well,
that though,
well,
they did not really set up that properly.
Yeah.
Even when the moment when
Yes.
Apocalypse becomes reality, and then you see everybody feels it, and
It will.
you saw this shot of Jean Grey, tossing and sitting in a bed, and then she's talking about she felt something.
Yeah.
From there, they could have set up the whole
Right.
Phoenix thing. Not like,
Yeah.
okay, near the end, there's someone even more
No,
powerful
here's the
than me.
thing, yeah.
You know?
You want to be the Phoenix. The Phoenix is an alien force that comes into Jean Grey in the comic. But in X3, which they had Jean Grey more behaving like Scarlet Witch than Jean Grey.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I
They ha-
hated
they-
how
they-
she
they-
acted.
Yeah, they still decided to do this whole, well, it's a hidden power and she's much stronger than she really is kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, I personally don't mind this. Personally, it's a good change, kind of. But the way they do it in this movie, it just felt rushed, half-assed the movie.
But remember, they can't change that because you already established that in X2 and 3. They had to keep those things
not
kind
really. You don't need to keep that. Don't need
You
to.
can't bring in the whole alien thing when everybody done see in 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Oh, it's something inside of her.
Yeah, they don't need to do it, frankly. Well, moving on,
Right.
post-credit scene. That was kind of cool.
It was.
Love
It
it.
didn't say much.
Right.
It didn't need
They
to
just
say
came
much,
in and
but
they
it's
just
kind of like,
you,
oh.
so okay, yes, if you're a fan and you kind of know what to look up, you know what it is you're referencing, which
Right.
is a character called Mr. Sinister. He's a geneticist, so you can see they took the blood, and
Holy fucking shit, that was Mr. Sinister?
oh, okay, so it's linked to him.
What?
How do I know this? Because alright, so when they take the blood
Right.
and then they put it in the suitcase and then they close the suitcase and the last thing you see was
Essex.
Essex, right? That's Mr. Sinister's name.
Ah,
Lieutenant Essex.
yeah.
And I was like, alright, cool.
Pick up on
Fan
that
shit.
Yeah.
Fan shit for fans, right? Fan stuff. Cool. And I was like, so hopefully the next movie most likely going to be if this is the link, then the next movie is going to be Mr. Sinister and the Savage Land.
Yeah, which would be cool.
Now
I
Savage
don't want to
Land,
see.
Savage Land is a-
When
it's a-
Kaiser September they're gonna do Kaiser and that chick that's with Kaiser, I forgot her name.
Who's that?
Savage Land, the
Okay.
guy, the kind of Conanish character.
Right.
He's he's like the Tarzan in that
Okay. I can't.
Savage Land.
I can't.
Yeah, you don't know Kaiser?
I forget it.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, I didn't mind the chemistry between Nightcrawler, Jean Grey, and Cyclops. I hope they focus on them in the next movie, if anything.
Yeah, I like that.
Sadly, it'll still be half-assed. And you'll want to say, well, give the mic back to Marvel. That bullshit. But look,
It doesn't matter.
serviceable film was serviceable.
Yeah.
It was middle of the road film.
All right. Well, before you get to your rating, I would say this much though, and once again, I agree with what you're saying. Right. I actually didn't hate the show as much.
Right. I went in with very low expectations.
Yeah.
Wasn't as bad as Batman v Superman.
No. You see, once again with the BBS.
Yeah.
You see, once again.
Yeah, I feel it. Yes. No, but it wasn't
Yeah.
as bad as that. It wasn't as good as Civil War. But it was,
No, certainly not.
But it was
Yeah, but I would say this much. It feels just like like overall, if you never really cared about the X-Men franchise, if you just didn't like what it did with it, with the characters,
Yeah.
with the action, if you just weren't blown away by it,
Yeah. You wouldn't
then you wouldn't really care for this
Yeah.
one. But if you liked it, if you liked especially like X2 and I didn't even mention the Wolverine, which I actually liked.
Yeah.
It wasn't perfect, but I liked it. I liked it.
It was going good for me until
The Silver Samurai thing.
yes. Oh my god.
Yeah,
why
they
did
had
do
to-
that
why they had to
bullshit?
do that
That was so
bullshit.
retarded. The first 2/3 of that film was okay. It had its
Yeah.
moments. And again, it should have been rated R.
Yeah, it should.
I think that's what pulled it up.
Yeah. So like I mentioned before, it really did feel a lot like Days of Future Past, especially with the way the story is told. It's not overly reliant on action, which is kind of funny because the last sequence was really building up to that final sequence where it's just this whole CGI orgasm on screen, and it was just really bogged down because of the CG itself. It just looked a little too fake, you know?
Yeah, no, the CG was
Yeah,
terrible.
it just didn't look
It
that polished.
had two parts in particular. They had a part where Angel was fighting with. No, Angel was fighting.
Angel was fighting Nightcrawler.
And it had a part where he fly and it just dart across the screen and I'm like, wow, that looked horrible, Joe.
Yeah, well,
That
the
looked
part
real.
I remember though with Psylocke.
Yes.
There's
Oh
two
my
scenes.
God.
There's one shot with
And
her
no, but
running.
Let's just establish she was terrible in this movie. She was just, the acting was horrible.
She was just there to look hot.
That's
That's all she did. She just there to look hot,
She outfit
swing
looked,
a sword.
yeah,
That's
the
it.
outfit looked like crap because it looked like a crappy cosplay outfit. Didn't look good at all.
Dude, people girls got real cosplay shit out of that,
Yeah,
right?
whatever. I
Yeah,
don't care.
that's why it's there.
But
Come
she,
on.
She was terrible in this. Whatever.
Yeah.
Olivia Munn moving on. I only like her in the newsroom kind of.
Whatever, Olivia Munn looked hot. I just seen,
That's fine.
but she didn't really do or say much. Oh yeah, that flip that she does, you saw it in the trailer where she slices the car. When I saw it on big screen, I was like,
Yeah.
nope,
Look like
no.
Look like
Nope.
Look like
And there's another shot where she falls and her like light sword or whatever, she hits it on the wall and
Right,
slides
slides
down.
down,
Yeah.
Look like
It must have read good on the script, but you know, see it on screen,
It
no,
doesn't.
it didn't work. And yeah, like it was just all the CG stuff going on, and it just didn't really work. But I would say this much: you did get a sense of emotion,
right.
and that's just because of how the story was developed. You really got a sense of where the characters were coming from.
Yeah.
Even like the minor characters, like say Nightcrawler and all too, who was serviceable. I was glad about
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
Oh, and I like the Michael Jackson Thriller jacket he had on.
Yeah.
That was clever. I like that.
Yeah.
And really, like I say, it just feels a lot like how Days of Future Past was, where you have action, but the movie is not so much about action as it is about these characters and how they relate to what's going on. It's just like Last Stand. I don't want to compare too much to Last Stand. It really does feel like, okay, there's going to be something grand, something operatic, something like this going to end if, well, of course, this is not going to be the end, but let's just say if it was a trilogy, this is going to be the ending, on a high note. It's going to end on a high note. And that's kind of like, okay, well, that happened. It didn't really blow me away, literally, that sequence.
Yeah.
The build up to it was fine. The characterization was fine. I had no problem with the acting. I thought the cast was fantastic. Even Jennifer Lawrence, who, like, I remember Corey Coleman said in his review that she just kind of acted like she just didn't really give a fuck anymore.
Right. A little bit.
She was good.
I didn't hate her in this. She was fine. It didn't feel like people keep saying that she was phoning it in, but I didn't get that from her so much.
And I mean, yeah, I thought
It was
she
like normal.
did what she
I
had
know
to
the
do.
script was crappy, but it had a really stupid part with her, Quicksilver and Magneto together in the final scene where Magneto had the force field, and it's like, wait, where's the resolution to that?
Oh yeah.
That was dumb.
Mm.
And then Quicksilver, they get rid of him, and they had to figure out a way to get rid of him because he was overpowered. All I like the action sequence when he tried to take them off of him.
Yeah, that was unexpected
That was
once again. Just like in the last week, this comes like, wait, oh shit, you know?
And then they had I like how well Apocalypse is adapted anything, so they just had him do a thing, and that was cool.
Yeah. Characters, I mean, let me see. I mean, Apocalypse just needed a bit more work. He just didn't really come off as
They
this
do a lot of
overly
okay,
menacing.
so here's what was kind of done. They did a lot of like callbacks to First Class, so they brought back Havoc.
Havoc, they brought back Moira.
Moira looked at it, right? And I was like, alright, cool. You know, they did a couple things, and it had its moments. Beast was okay, but all of his scene with Psylocke was terrible. Again,
But I like the moment that he had with Mystique. That was fine. Like I
Yeah.
say, they did something like that with the road cut of Days of Future Past. So that was cool.
um,
Overall, I mean, and yes, the story was okay. It was good. I would say it was decent.
Yeah.
It just needed some more polish, a bit more work.
Yeah. All about
Character motivations, just things that happen, especially with Magneto.
Yeah.
If it was one thing I could pick out of the many flaws that this story admittedly has, is just the motivation for a guy like Magneto to join the Four Horsemen. You know, this guy like, well, I hate humans again. Okay, here's Apocalypse.
That whole thing was dumb. It was poly-paced.
Like, why the fuck do you need a man like Apocalypse anyway?
No, it does not. It does really not what it did. That whole thing with Magneto bringing back into the story was really stupid. It was laughably bad. I actually was laughing in the theaters with that.
Yeah. I have no problem with the whole backstory thing, but it's just what led up to now I hate humans again. That lead up just didn't work to me.
No, but that whole thing with the whole arrow thing was just so stupid. That was just incredibly dumb for me. I just could not help but laugh at that. And they tried to play it off dead serious, you know.
That's the thing. That's why people, when I saw this, I was like, oh.
I was like, well, it's serious with this nonsense? And I was like, wait, that arrow so powerful it passed through the daughter and the mother? Like, what?
Yeah.
Whatever. Moving.
Alright, but
again, a good script would have cut that shit out a long time. My editor would have cut that shit out.
Yeah, but I do. Alright, but in terms of like superhero fatigue, I mean, this is literally the fourth superhero movie we have gotten this year, right? So we got a great one with Deadpool, of course, one with horrible one with BBS, and then I still think great with Civil War. Yeah. So coming up, I mean, and then here's the thing. Yeah. Now the thing with critics now, and especially with the fact that this film I think has like 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, could be less. Probably after this recording here. No. And I mean just paraphrasing what the consensus was, which was over action and cliched villain. I didn't think there was much action in it. Just like with the last one, it was just story building up to now we have action sequence here, but then the story develops. And I love that. Yeah. That's Simon Kinberg's. That's how he writes, and that's the thing that people have to understand. X-Men is not Avengers. Right. The style of writing in X-Men is not how the style of it writing with it.
Look, here's the thing.
But you could tell that we want to kind of get the Avengers crowd in, so we want to hype this thing up and make it big. So that's why the final sequence could have been big. It could have been explosive. It could have been, but it just didn't work.
Here's the kicker: is that the problem is that Bryan Singer as a filmmaker has never. The problem with the X-Men film is that it's at the tail end of the whole filmmaker interpreting comic books now. This whole filmmaker on taking their own spin on a comic book.
Oh.
That them days.
You can see that like in the first movie.
Exactly. That was his thing. And it was, you could get away with that back then. No, not so much. And then Bryan Singer's still on board. So you have that same thing. And I still don't think Bryan Singer is that good of a filmmaker. He can tell he can't film action very well. Can't film a lot of stuff very well. Again, and everything. Not only that, but because everything was half-assed in terms of from a production standpoint, it does look extra obvious. Like plenty of shots, especially that whole sequence in the what do you call it? With the Weapon X program thing. Right. Our whole sequence was some really like amateurish camera stuff, in my opinion. Yeah, it looked bad. Look it over.
No, I know what you mean. Like there's a shot where Wolverine jumps on the guy. No, they're right. See the guy's reaction. You just see Wolverine stabbing.
They cut to they keep cutting to them like camera to security footage, but it was looking like real amateurish at times. So it's wait, this is a security camera. Why the shot so low? And they had a part where when Cyclops blew up the wall, and it was clearly a fucking GoPro. It looked like shit.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that.
And I just see the thing.
I just looked at the beam and went.
When he blew up the wall to open to rescue them.
That's
it. You see the explosion blow up the wall, and you see the part, and it was clearly a particle explosion. Everything looked amateurish in the ship, John. Like they had a scene when Professor X opened the door, when Jean was nightmaring. Right. And he opened the door, and you can clearly see the fucking room light. It's like this obvious room light on Professor X. Like, gosh, guys, tone that down a little bit, Amateur. Everything that's called amateurs. Again, I consider it half-assed movie. Yeah. Felt like a movie. It didn't, it felt movie-ish.
Yeah, it felt movie-ish.
Too much. Yeah. It was too easy to see. And it's not me looking for anything particular. Like I didn't think Civil War was perfect in terms of its technical stuff. It also had mistakes in that.
Yeah,
but this one was a little too much. I'm gonna give him a rating now.
Yeah. Let me just give you a rating one time. All right. So for me, I didn't hate the show as much as all that. I kind of enjoyed it for what it did as an X-Men movie. And I would say this going into, guys, if you're really not a fan of the X-Men movies. If you just hate the way how those characters were treated on screen, then you just will not like this movie at all. But if you actually could stomach the movies, if you loved X2, if you loved First Class and Days of Future Past and whatnot, First Class and Days of Future Past, then you're gonna enjoy this for the most part. So for me, I give this a decent 3.5 out of 5 stars.
Right.
It's worth a look. You don't have to rush out to go and see it. But like I say, if you're a fan of the franchise, you'll love it. If you're not a fan, probably rent it or just wait till it comes out on cable or something.
Take your time with this. This one you don't need to go out and see. When I went to see Nice Guys this weekend, it had a massive crowd to go see X-Men.
Of course,
So
yeah.
people go and see it.
So like when I've seen Nice Guys, there's like about like 6 people with me, but
Yeah, when I see
X-Men
Nice Guys, didn't have a
full out sold out crowd.
Yeah, I saw a massive amount of people, huge line. But
Yeah, everybody was laughing and
Right. Well,
people went ooh when he found with the arrow, as I mentioned. Yeah. But anyway,
whatever. I guess it's CC it. I don't want to say a low
hello,
CC.
okay,
CC it, just CC it. So that's what 5 out of 10. Yeah, about it.
reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't hate this movie completely, but it was half-assed. Everything was just
Yeah. And I will just say this much though, I know a lot of people will want to compare it to Last Stand. It's not
Not
as bad as Last Stand,
Not bad at all.
but it does feel like there could have been a little bit more effort into it,
Yeah.
especially with the story.
Mm.
Story just needed some work, and even right down to just the title Apocalypse. You expected this, like I said, this grand thing, and then it's like
No,
Well,
I mean, they kind of
I
grand
know.
it in a sense, but it didn't because
it was building up to
Yeah.
be something grand, but just a payoff. That sequence that we were just talking about and criticizing, it just like
whatever.
never.
More
But yeah,
than-
but
yeah, that's
like I
all
say, you don't have to rush out to see it. If
Yeah.
you really need to see it, go ahead. I didn't hate it. He didn't hate it, but just could have been a little bit. This could have been better. So I'm hoping with this new X-Men movie, yes, we're gonna get a new one. Hopefully, I don't know if Branson is gonna direct it. I don't really care.
I heard it.
But I
Whatever.
just hope that it is better than this one here.
Whatever.
So I would just say, just in closing, it's a
That's-
step down from
that's-
these are feature
No, but I
parts.
say what Singer. All Singer has to do with these X-Men films. He just had to play the greatest hits to the audience, right? All the greatest hits. The X-Men greatest hits. He already played Days of Future Past, he already played Apocalypse. So now he has to play what? Shi'ar Empire. He could probably do Savage Land, which I expect to come because he teased Nathaniel XX.
Yeah.
That's all he's gonna do. He's just gonna look at the comic and say, okay, we're gonna do this comic. House of M might come later. Maybe. Then he might do, and then all he had to do is just jump in 90s and then do a retro thing.
Yeah.
That's it. So 60s retro, then 70s retro, then 80s retro, then 90s retro, and then a thing. Nathaniel XX gonna come next. Then who else? I don't know. House of M maybe. Who
Yeah.
else? Who's the other big X-Men stories?
Onslaught.
Asteroid M maybe.
Yeah.
Onslaught maybe.
But you see what I'm worried about? I think this is probably like the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
Is that
he can't do anything.
it's just that people kind of like not really caring anymore. It's just like, oh gosh, we've been through this. I mean,
Yeah, people tired.
I mean, people are tired, and now we go back to the whole superhero fatigue. It's like,
Yeah.
how
I
many
know
more X-Men movies are we gonna get?
I know people who, even with Civil War, they were like, oh yeah, X-Men is fatigue. It's fun.
Yeah,
They
I
get
know.
tired.
I know that people who just like,
Yeah,
just
they get
another
tired.
Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, that's it.
But
Oh, we don't talk
but
about-
let's just hope that with this, well, video game movies, especially, I'm just hoping still that if Warcraft is a success,
Right.
then we're gonna get more high
I think we're
quality.
getting a premiere of Warcraft. In
Yeah.
7th. That is a big. We're going to see.
Yeah, that's Tuesday, I believe, is a couple of days before the actual official premiere in the States.
Okay.
So ha, American listeners, we're gonna get to see it before you all.
Except we do that for like every movie because X-Men came.
Yeah, exactly,
Whatever.
yeah. But I'm just hoping that when the whole superhero craze ends, then maybe video games could come and fill that.
That's basically what I
If
expect.
not, then probably might just be
a lot
cartoons.
of big
Like old school cartoons. I mean.
No, but here's the thing. Nintendo jumped into the fray recently, right?
Right.
Nintendo jumped into the fray. They're gonna start to make their movies. Don't know.
Yeah.
So we don't know if it'll be like Warcraft or it'll be like live action stuff.
Yeah.
Not sure. Right. Last time Nintendo tried to do a thing, it didn't really work out back in '93.
Yep.
Like,
Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird. Didn't work. And I don't think it'll be Pixels was just
Yeah. Pixels was
that was
just.
just cancer. So that movie was just cancer too. So
Yeah.
whatever. But Nintendo gonna do something, and Nintendo have some good franchises. Metroid, great.
Years we waited for a Metroid movie. I mean,
Metroid.
ever since Metroid Prime came out,
Right.
I was like,
Great.
why is
You
there
tell-
not a movie for
Yeah, you
this?
can tell Metroid. They can do Mario over again. Some people hinting that we might get a Super Smash Brothers universe. So all the movies might lead up to Super Smash Brothers. Not sure.
Nah.
I have no idea.
It would work.
I have no idea. Whatever.
I took it Zelda. Zelda's like a
Zelda,
perfect
next one. Yeah, but Zelda is again kind of Warcraftish fantasy, high fantasy stuff.
Yeah,
So we don't know.
just don't make it too much of a Lord of the Rings ripoff
But
already.
But
then,
it'll always be that because the Triforce is the chasing after
yeah,
right?
make it a PG
We
version
don't
of it and
we
it'll
don't
be fine. Yeah.
What else? Oh, we talk about Star Trek, but we didn't talk about there's a teaser trailer for
Oh yeah, for
Trek.
the Star Trek TV series, yes.
I
saw it.
I'm excited. I don't know how it'll be. If it have good writers, great.
That's the thing. I just don't
It's
know what to
coming back on
expect yet.
TBS.
Yeah, I remember they had the original series. Yeah.
Show it. I don't know when we'll get. I have no idea. I heard it's going to be between Kirk and Picard, which is a big gap in the law.
Okay, that's great.
Relatively large gap in the law, like a good, for the most part, 90 to 70 years or so.
Alright, I thought it's like something after Picard or something like a Deep Space Nine.
I personally would like to see after Picard, but after that period. So
Right.
like a good century after Picard. Personally, I would love to see that. Just tell a brand new story. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Don't know what to expect, but
Yeah.
just hoping that it doesn't get cancelled after one season.
Nah,
Just
I
hoping.
really hope what happened with Enterprise will happen again. Because Enterprise was just run into the ground because of shenanigans in the studio. The studio doesn't give a shit.
Right.
And they just run that shit into the ground.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, so that's pretty much about it. So as usual, Ricardo, where can we find you
Yes,
online?
You can find me ampersat RMEDY. That is at RMEDY. At RMEDY on Twitter. And then you can just type in my name on Facebook. You'll find that. That's it. Matthew, where can we get to you, good sir?
Alright, you can find me on Twitter as well too. You can type in Legally Black MJB are in capital letters. And on Facebook, you can type in Matthew Bailey. You can find all my movie-related and music-related stuff that I just tend to post when I have nothing to do and I just want to connect with the outside world and stuff, trying to get away from my introvertedness, whatever. And also, if you want to find the link to this podcast and others that we've done and my written reviews, you could go on Facebook, search for a Legally Black blog official fan base. You'll find all the links, all the podcasts, like I said before, all the podcasts, all the written reviews that I've done before as well. So, anything we're looking forward to coming?
Well, yeah, Warcraft coming next.
Yeah, Warcraft, of course.
Star Trek coming just now.
Yeah.
Star Trek coming quite soon, actually.
Yeah.
Just now. So.
Right.
Yeah.
I know Angry Birds movie is coming out this week. Well, this week of this recording. I'm not sure.
No, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna make the effort. So I'm gonna see that.
Yeah, and
it was alright.
Also, the week after we're getting the new Ninja Turtles movie.
Yes.
Actually, wouldn't mind checking out that.
I'm hoping good for that because I heard it's gonna be the opposite of Transformers franchise, where the first movie wasn't so bad and then all the others got worse.
Yeah.
I heard they're making the effort to improve them and make them better.
Yeah, but I just want one thing out of this movie is just that you see like in the previous movie where the first 2/3 he was just taking himself way too seriously.
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh shit, it's a movie about talking mutant turtles.
Yeah.
Let's have fun.
Right.
And that's what they did.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping with this one I see the trailers that they just have fun.
It wasn't
Dumb fun,
it
but
wasn't
fun.
the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
For me, it wasn't so bad. I enjoyed it. That was okay.
Well, actually, the first that last one made it some of the worst stuff of that year.
Okay.
Yeah, I did enjoy that.
Yeah, I jumped into it. I was like, I kind of went in with nothing. I was like, alright, cool, whatever. Fuck
Yeah,
it.
and I hated the characters, especially Splinter. Ugly as
Right.
fuck, though.
Yeah.
My god. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, and some few other movies that aren't on the tip of my head right now because I'm hungry. So
Yeah.
So that's about it.
Yeah.
So once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whenever you listen to this. I'm Matthew Billy,
Ricardo Medina.
and we're signing off. So take care, guys. Until next time, peace.
Yeah.